Hard Rock Life.
Yeah, and we're back with the writer of that song sitting next to me, Chris Loring.
Hard Rock Life. Hard Rock Life.
And it is my honor and privilege to bring to the show Will the GLARER from YouTube fame.
Legend. Legend.
Absolute. How you doing, Will? You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, thanks.
He's
Sorry,
back.
There he
guys.
is.
He's back, folks.
Love
No,
seeing
the
those
honor is
lips.
mine. Totally, 100% mine. I love the song, and it's great. And I'm really grateful that Chris lets me use it to hype my audience up.
Takes a village. One hand washes the other. I'm proud that you've kept it alive, kept it going. Listen, I thought I was going to get 8 hits. I thought 5 of my friends would hear it and be like, what are you, fucking crazy? But here we are.
I mean, it's like it's a good song, and that's the way YouTube is. Like, you could, who knows, like the weirdest thing could end up getting 1 million hits.
Yeah.
And you would never even know it. It's the weirdest thing.
Yep.
And you pour your heart and soul into something, and then like 5 people,
Yeah.
3 likes.
It's tough. I've been in a band for 25 years. This is our 25th year, and we started promoting the show. We got like 5 likes.
What's the name of your band?
We're called Didn't Plan It, but I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
They don't dabble in things of the what hell shall we call this? The
Hetero music? No, I'm just
no, they don't go against the they're not in on the Reed Case thing.
Right.
Or maybe they are, but they're not public about it. Like it sort of takes a certain amount of
I gotcha.
oomph to pick one side or the other, because you're going to get attacked probably.
So this is a Chris Loring solo project.
This is a solo project. Yes, exactly.
Right. Gotcha.
So that's but just to your point, where you never know what's going to happen. We've played thousands of gigs. And I put this thing up the other day, and it was like, 5 likes. It's like, what are you, fucking kidding me? You just don't know. You just don't know. I'm sure more is going to come from it, but it's just the splash was small.
Did you record everything yourself?
Yes.
Like track by track, like drums, bass, guitar, vocals?
The drums are programmed drums, because I can't play drums, but everything else was me.
Okay.
And
but even still, that's
yeah.
a lot of work.
I mean,
I wouldn't even know how to begin to do that. Like, if I figured out how to do that, I would end up spending a bunch of money that I don't have on equipment,
Well,
and then
I did
make a
do
bunch
that.
of crap
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, that's the way it happens. You have to. I have kind of the bare minimum. I have enough to get things done, but I don't want to overproduce anything. I don't like whole lots of auto-tune. There's no auto-tune on this. It's just a guy pushing record, and trying to capture the mood. And
yeah, I got a buddy back in Miami who sends me stuff all the time, because he does the same thing.
Yeah.
He's just one of those people that's just constantly creative. Like, he'll explode if he's not.
Right.
So he's like, he's a tattoo artist and owns his own tattoo shop. And so when he's working, like, at the shop, if he's not actually tattooing, he's painting,
right,
he's drawing,
right.
And when he gets home, he's recording music, and he's just constantly on,
If it's tough to do. It's tough to remain in that space, because I have the stuff set up. I can just walk in there and sit down and start doing something. The thing is, it turns out being little pieces of things. When this song came up, I went to the stockpile. I've got a riff stockpile, and I just sort of went in there and started. I was like, all right, this is a good riff for this, and then it just sort of, it came together. But I had it sort of already hashed out before I walked into the room with the stuff set up. Because if you just walk in there and hit play or hit record, that's when things really start to happen. You have to be productive. You can't just go in there
Totally.
and sit around and be like, oh, this will work because then you just end up with fragments, and I've got thousands of song fragments on my hard drive.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like there's riffs that I made up like 30 years ago.
Yes.
That I could play right now.
Yep.
But I've been in a few bands, and we never used any of them.
Right.
Right. So it's like, it's really funny, and there's like, and I'm hell bent about it. Like, I just won't like dismiss them, because I'm like, man, I got to do something with this riff.
Here's the thing, dude. If you get a small studio setup, because if you can play anything, if you have just a minimal amount of guitar playing, you are now in charge. You don't have band members anymore. You can put down whatever you want. So whatever your riff is, you know.
God, that sounds so nice.
Think about that, because it's very satisfying.
Oh my God. Like, and it's funny, I kind of enjoyed that too, that creative process of like being in the studio, because none of us can read or like actually literally write music.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like that process of like, you know, trying to get this riff, you know, and everybody get in the pocket.
Yes.
And it took forever. It took all day and a bunch of yelling and screaming at each other and that sort of thing. And then I'm the guy.
Trust me, I know.
You know, now that we're playing it, I think it would sound better if we add this note right here, or maybe you stop and pause there.
Right.
And after you just spent like 4 hours trying to get it tight.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that goes, I'm not sure if that sounds the way that I had in my mind. Let's try it this way. And then everybody's like, are you fucking serious right now, dude? Like, I could fucking kill you right now.
That is 100% the process, though. It's like, if you're in a band,
and I love it.
You're married to 4 guys. You're married to 4 guys in a band. You have to like sort of, you know, do all that. But if you're just doing it by yourself, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to listen to anybody else, you know?
And if you put a band together with the stipulation, like, hey, I have these songs recorded, this is how I want them to sound. And if you want in, you're in, but just know it's not a democracy.
Right.
This is how the
These
song
are the
goes.
tunes. These are the tunes. So if it ever came to fruition,
tell me your ideas, but you know, it doesn't mean I'm going to do anything with them.
If it ever came to fruition that, let's say, there was some sort of event where this song were going to be played at.
I wanted to ask that. Keep going.
I would get people that can play it properly, which is with some fury, you know, because it has to be. I don't want people just stand there and look at their toes. I want somebody who's going to be like, fucking free Caribbean, goddammit, you know, like into the situation. And
I'm gonna sample that.
Dude, I'd fucking help you with that, man.
I'm just saying, like, it would need to be, because I have played with lots of different people. I've played with people that are better than me. I'm not that great. I'm not really that good at all. I have like 10 riffs.
Yeah, but you're clearly a good songwriter, man.
Terrible. Yeah, like I feel that. Like I can't. I still. I mean, I never did learn how to play leads like shred. You know.
Right. I can't
everything
do it.
I cheat with octaves. Constantly.
Yeah. The minute I picked up
I'm
the guitar.
a rhythm guitarist.
Yeah. The minute I picked up the guitar, I knew I was not going to be famous. I knew that this was not going to bring me money. I have to do it only for fun, because I spent my 20s going to see bands in Boston. I had access to all of these great bands that would come to town and play clubs, and they would just peel the paint off their guitars, and I was like, I can never do that. And these guys aren't even making it. They're just playing at the freaking Rat, you know. And the next thing you know, I did it for fun, and it has been probably one of the most rewarding things, because I never set a price tag where I was like, I need to get this much money to do this. Now, I probably could at this point. Cover bands, sure, they're fine, but like, you're never going to make. There's no gold at the end of the rainbow, so you just better do it for fun.
Absolutely.
You add those restrictions, like time limits on things like that, and you know, and all of it, when you have this just pure creative process, and if, like you say, you're doing it for money, or you're doing it for any other reason other than the song itself being written and it's sounding good, it's going to affect how that song comes out,
without question.
You know, there's no way around it.
Nope.
You know,
I've written corporate songs before. We had a big thing. We had a big thing called Walking Around Boston. There was a big hospital merger, and they asked our drummer, "Oh, you're in a band. can you write a song for us? And he's like, maybe you should hear our band before you ask that question.
Right.
This guy, you think I'm talented? This guy left the meeting on his steering wheel in traffic, Boston traffic, on the way home, pens this little song, shows up at my house. We put a 4-track on the coffee table and start playing the riff. He starts singing the lyrics, and we start playing riff. We had a song within like 20 minutes. We gave them the demo the next day, and they were like, "We want it. We're gonna run it." And we're like, "Whoa, it's a coffee table demo. Oh, you're not going anywhere with this." They said, well, "Let's go in the studio and re-record it," and it turned out to be kind of a thing around Boston. The Red Sox used to play it all the time, but it was somebody else's, like studio and things. I'm still proud of what it became, but it's not the way it started, and it's kind of like, oh, all right, well, there was corporate input, let's put it that way, you know what I mean? So that definitely changed the dynamic of the song.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I feel that. Like, one of my favorite things about it is the bass line. I really enjoy the bass line in that song a lot.
I was slamming, I have a 1977 RD bass. Do you know what that is? A Gibson RD. It's a weird looking bass, because I don't like traditional basses. Bass players get ripped off. They have one shape.
Yeah, for sure.
The Fender Jazz bass shape, and maybe a couple of others. But this thing's totally unique looking. It looks like it's from space. And you have to play furiously on that song with those drums to keep up with that. And that's how the bass got laid down. It was just like, all right, like got aggressive with it.
It's very Motorhead-esque. Yeah, very, I think, a Lemmy.
It does have a Motorheady feel, yeah.
I didn't really think of that until right now.
That is high praise. High praise. Maybe the highest praise.
Yeah.
I mean, Lemmy is he's a god of mine.
He's a god.
Yeah, without question. That guy, Jesus.
No, Lemmy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Truth. We're honoring the wrong people here.
I want you guys to say Hetty again.
Hetty.
Yeah.
Motorheady.
Yeah, it was. I guess now that I think about it, that's an influence. It's not. It doesn't have a huge riff in it. There's no like shredding guitar solo. It's just, kind of the same thing. The roots over and over, but they're heavy. I'm surprised it took off, because it's probably heavier than most people. A Karen Reed audience. Who knows what they listen to?
But it's so well written, dude, and the lyrics, like you were saying last time, Will, the lyrics fucking tell everything. It explains the whole story. It's amazing.
Yeah, it explains everything you need to know about the case. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It also, and the video helps a lot too.
The video does.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yep.
It helps for the people who don't listen to hard rock get into it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it, because it is fast paced, and it is driven with a lot of, it's got an oomph drive to it. So, people could dismiss it and be like, "Oh, what the hell what the hell is this?"
I don't listen to heavy metal.
Right.
I like Smash Mouth.
Shut up, Ryan.
Yeah. Fire him.
Right.
Might as well be walking.
But to your point, it doesn't. It's if everybody's going to tell me it's well written, I'm going to go ahead and agree with them.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is.
I find it hard to pat myself on the back sometimes, but I did the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it. It's like,
yeah.
oh my God.
I mean, it doesn't have to sound like Dream Theater to be a good song.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to
Right.
use the same techniques.
Excellent reference.
I mean?
Yep.
It's
Dream
like
Theater's
Dream
lame.
Theater is to me a band who is put there to blow people away and impress people.
Yes.
Like, I have no interest in that. Like, I love people who are like, "Oh, Joe Satriani or Steve Vai." And I'm
Example
like,
players.
fuck both of them.
Exemplimentary.
Yeah, I like songs. I mean, because sure, it impresses me how good you are, but it takes me that long to be impressed, and then I'm bored.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
I think I heard a Steve
need to
Vai
hear a
riff.
song.
I heard a Steve Vai riff like playing at SeaWorld in like '96 in San Antonio, and it was kind of badass, and that was it. That's the only time I've heard him.
Yeah, man.
Kill the guy with the ball. That's the only track that sticks out to me of
Right.
Steve Vai is
Or
killing the
maybe
guy
it
with
was
the ball.
Triani.
Really cool, but.
Yeah, I mean, they have
And
some
like,
amazing stuff.
I would love to see him live.
Yeah.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
So I
but-
saw him a bunch of times. He's great.
Yeah.
I saw him at the channel.
Hell yeah.
He does all those theatrics, gymnastics right in front of you, Olympic athlete,
Right.
right there, 5 feet away. And
Otherwise, you'd be bored. I'm not buying a record because
Right.
I'm just gonna be like, okay, so the guy's shredding.
Right.
Cool.
1000%. I get like that with Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie
Malmsteen.
Malmsteen's fucking phenomenal, but I could literally fall asleep after 10
two
minutes.
tunes, two tunes. That's all you got.
It takes me 2 seconds to decide. Okay, yeah, that guy could play,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
what?
Right,
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
Give me a little more.
Dude, I mean, we live near Berkeley, like
Yeah.
College of Music in
Yeah.
Boston. I know several people that have gone there. They can play whatever you put in front of them. They can read shit, whatever. But not many of them can write a good fucking song.
Right.
And I'm not saying
Yeah,
there are no
yeah.
Berkeley kids that can. I'm just saying the ones that I know.
right, right.
I tried to take lessons. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I have like
Lessons-
major learning disabilities.
Yeah.
And my brother, when we were kids, he took piano and he could figure out the mechanics of it and he could read music and do it, but he had no heart and soul into it at
Right,
all.
right.
You know, you
yeah.
could tell it's a kid trying to learn a song and play it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much you practice it.
Mm-hmm.
Like people can tell the difference between you reading music
Right.
and you actually enjoying and feeling it,
Mm.
you know, whereas like
Yeah.
I talked my mom into buying me well, I had a friend in high school, like I was a freshman in high school, and then my mom this friend was going through those phases that we all go through, not trying to decide what your identity is and where you fit in
Sure.
in the cliques and whatnot. And he was a metalhead for a couple of weeks
Yeah.
and then or a few months, and then was like, I like rap and blah blah blah. I don't
Yeah.
feel this stuff anymore. He's like, you want to buy my guitar and amp for $100?
Sure.
Fuck.
And so
Sure.
I talked my mom into it, and I took guitar class in high school.
Yeah.
And our guitar teacher was cool because like what he did was he basically introduced the class by having this packet made that had basically the purpose was to show you how easy it is to actually play a lot of the pop songs that you like.
Right.
Because you listen to it because
Yes.
it's on the radio, you automatically assume, oh my God, the reason
Right.
why they're rich and famous is because they're so great at what they do. And then so we
Yeah,
have this
true.
packet where it has like Guns N' Roses Patience. Yeah, this is how old I am. Guns N' Roses Patience, Every Rose from Poison,
Dude, three
Yeah.
chords. Three
Norwegian
chords.
Wood from the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, man.
very, very. And so I was like, wait a minute. And then he had the where the charts where you put your fingers and
Yeah,
everything on the neck and the
tablature, sure.
the tablature guide basically.
Yeah.
And he had that on the back thing, and I was like, okay. And then I just started messing with those chords, and then that was it.
That's the only way. Like,
Yeah.
I did.
I failed this
I'm,
class.
I'm the same as you. Like, I had a terrible time with lessons. You know, we had books and a tape or a record, and that's what you had to like listen to. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have any tools. We had to go and actually learn the music like as it happened, and learn how to play the chords. So there was a struggle of getting over that hump in the first place. And I remember the first time I played a bar chord, it was like 6 months of playing guitar. And finally I got a bar chord and I was like, oh my God, I can play
That was the game
a
changer.
Ramones song.
Right there.
You know,
Fuck
and like
yeah.
next thing you know,
Yeah. As soon as I learned the power chord, that changed
yeah,
everything.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. But I never really like advanced beyond that as far as schooling. So what I learned was that you can get close, and people will care less if you're not just an absolute train wreck. I've never been able to duplicate another player. I've been in cover bands. I don't play the solos. I just play whatever comes to mind at the time. It's a living art.
Yeah.
It happens as it goes by. And it only happens once because I can't do it the same way twice. But from a schooling perspective, you could never write that down. You can't take that off a page. You have to just learn it playing in bands, being in bands, and
Yeah.
learning where the notes fit.
Yeah. You can't teach being in a band.
No,
You
absolutely
can't
not.
teach, You can't teach dynamics between bandmates and that's an experience that I'll never ever regret at all, no matter like how bad things got with certain band members and whatnot. Like I'll never ever. I mean, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
When you get to play a show in front of hundreds of people.
Yes.
And you're like, dude, I barely learned how to play this thing. This is crazy.
Yep. And
some reason people like it.
They respond, and I just feel lucky that after all this time I'm still able to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like still have people want to come. How long were you in a band for, Will?
The only band that I was in that we actually did remotely anything, we were together for just a few years, maybe like 3 or 4 years tops. I don't even remember.
Gotcha.
But we and it was funny because we were already in our 30s,
right?
Like in our early 30s, and
perfect.
Yeah, and I bet you're going to agree with this or you're at least going to understand where I'm coming from. At that point, we had all kind of already given up on our dreams of doing it, but we just missed playing.
Yeah.
And then because of that, because we just didn't give a shit anymore, it was way easier to put the music together.
Yep.
Better music came out. The best music the best riffs I ever came up with.
Without question.
And then all of a sudden, local bands who we were friends with. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten a lot of the shows unless we were friends with them. Like we knew, our guitarist was really good friends with the frontman for Poison the Well. I don't know if you know who they are.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah, so we got to play a couple of shows with them, but basically just because I mean, we wouldn't have gotten on the show if we sounded like shit.
Right.
But it was definitely not.
Yeah.
It's not like you put together our band and put together Poison the Well and be like, that's going to be a great show.
Right. There's no gold at the end of that rainbow either.
Dude, I reached out to them not that long ago to get them on the podcast. We're gonna get them on. Somehow.
Right after Julia Roberts.
I was only acquainted with Jeff, and we were cool, but we were only acquainted. I don't know him like that. I would just be like, yeah, let me call him up.
So you wouldn't give him a ride home from a murder scene? Is that what you're saying? He's an acquaintance of yours?
I like him enough to ask him what the circumstances are, and then we'll see.
Right.
But like I'd be there for him to some degree. Yeah. It's just a question of you got to sell me on this. Yeah. But I think they're playing Riot Fest in Chicago.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
At Soldier Field.
I don't know if it's at Soldier Field. I don't think so. It's on some park grounds or whatever. But I bought my ticket. That's where I'll be.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I haven't gone since 2016.
Wow.
But this year I was just like, man, like I haven't seen my cousins in a while because they live out in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
And that's something they do every year. So I said, screw it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get a ticket. And
are the Smoking Popes on that ticket?
Oh, they're coming here in like
that'd be awesome.
I'm not sure. Man, there's a lot of people on that bill. I took a glance at it. Slayer's headlining it.
Really?
No shit.
Yeah. When I went, it was when Misfits had Glenn Danzig with them for the first time in like 30 years.
Wow, that's a show.
So that was like, that was like amazing to be able to like see that and be able to say you were there for that. That was really great.
Yeah.
And then there was just a lot of great bands that like I had not gotten to see live yet. I had never gotten to see Fu Manchu live yet.
Okay.
And I was so excited and got to see them in the Bronx. I hadn't gotten to see them live yet.
Nice. The Bronx are fucking sick.
Yeah, the Bronx are real intense.
Yeah, they're super fun live. I broke my wrist at one of their shows.
Really?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of their mariachi band too.
Yeah. Mariachi El Bronx.
I haven't heard that.
Oh my God.
I've never bothered to.
Listen to all of it, beginning to end, and you'll be in love.
It is really good. I don't typically listen to El Mariachi music.
It's got English lyrics that you can easily understand, so that's a.
Oh, I like
you know,
everything, man.
Yeah,
could tell.
I listen to that.
Most of the stuff I
Yeah.
listen to, I couldn't even name you. Like what I'll end up doing sometimes, like if I'm at the gym, I'll just go down a rabbit hole
Yeah.
of shit, and I don't
Yes.
even know what I'm listening to.
Yep.
I'll pick one song, and then it'll just kind of
let it
just
run.
play
Pick a
stuff.
run.
random playlist creator.
And like one thing that I really get into, which is really weird when I'm at the gym, is like French contemporary shit.
Okay.
I have
really?
no idea what they're saying, but I love it.
Yeah.
You listen to a lot of
Yeah.
April March.
Like Edith Piaf, I think is how you say her name.
Really?
And then like
Interesting.
anything that surrounds that is, I'll just go down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
And just
All right.
That's interesting.
listen to it. And
Oui, oui.
enjoy it.
Dude, France has a lot of talent, man. I played over in Paris, like in the basement of the Moulin Rouge with 25 to Life, like back in '04. And we were touring
Oh,
with
wow.
we were touring with a French punk band, and they're fucking amazing, man. And they're huge now. They're God, what is the name of the band now? Tilgada Jones. Have you ever heard of them? Tilgada Jones.
No.
They were on Rolling Stone over in Europe like a couple months ago, like, and they're such great dudes. But there's so much talent in the French underground scene, man.
Right.
I'm gonna have to check out some of that contemporary French music.
It's just old shit. Yeah. Like there's like one song that I had to save because it's like a dude on a bicycle. It's about a bicycle.
That makes
not? Why,
sense.
dude,
I
why
can
not?
totally
Saying-
see that.
Well, that's
Bicicleta. It's just a really great like music, and it's.
I'm looking
and I
this
don't
up.
know why.
Yeah. What is this? What do we do?
Bicyclette.
I am down with this. I'm going to look this up when I get home because it sounds
I
very
it's not
interesting.
anything
Sounds
that
very
you know what I mean. Like
I imagine
I
that
just-
a third of the French contemporary music has bicyclette in the title, or something like
yeah,
that.
like you could tell this stuff was recorded back in like the 50s, 60s.
It's
Yeah,
got a vibe.
right,
That
yes.
sounds
That's
awesome.
But you had to be good
but
back
it's
then.
the French language.
Yeah, yeah.
And in singing it, like singing in the French language, something about it I find incredibly soothing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just very relaxing.
It's got a whole
Yeah.
vibe
I wish I
to
could.
it.
I wish I could play April March right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We will. I'm delving into that for sure
me too.
when I get home.
I'm interested.
Yeah, all I did, how I ended up doing it was I searched the song that they played in Inception.
Okay.
As the
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, and like that song really grabbed me. So
Yeah.
I listened to that, and then the next thing I knew, it just started playing me. I just let it go.
Sure. Sure.
And then I'll do that all the time now.
My girl is a huge Francophile, and in fact, we're going to Corsica, which I did not know was off the coast of France, in September.
There's a
But
racing course there.
she's gonna freaking freak out when she finds out that this French music that I'll probably end up listening to because
Yeah.
it sounds fucking great.
Yeah, I just got
French rap.
I mean, when you get old, you just like I remember feeling like I was breaking the rules somehow if I liked something, but I didn't know everything about it,
Right.
just in case I was tested at a party
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
Somebody starts asking me, well, who's the singer of this, and blah
Yeah.
blah blah,
Yeah.
and which album, and now
You don't know Alice in Chains, man. I got
but
thank you.
now I just like I couldn't tell you half of what the song titles are.
Right.
Probably more like 70% at this
Right.
point.
Right.
Song titles, bands, even sometimes
Same.
where I don't have no idea.
Well, because you do stuff and
And
you put
then-
it on in the background. If you're working out, it's not like you're
Pretty
looking
much.
up the song every time, But you do when you get into that headspace of getting
Yeah.
pumped, and those
Sometimes-
songs trigger you.
Yeah, sometimes a song will really just randomly grab me, and I'm just like, I don't want to not be able to listen to this again, and then I'll add it to my library.
Sure. Yes. Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll just shuffle my library, and
That's what I do because it
Right.
knows you better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
My library shuffle knows me better than any human being on the planet. It gives me nuggets of music that I would never pick for myself in the moment.
Right.
But the next song that comes up is like, oh my God, this is fucking perfect because I chose it.
Yeah.
Like finding a crate of records.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And Samantha Fox being in there. There's a reference nobody will get. I guarantee you that.
I got it.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah, I
I don't
actually
know-
follow Samantha Fox on Instagram.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, she's still out there doing her
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Believe it or not.
So I worked
Yeah.
at a music store in like, I don't even want to say how long ago it was, but it was when Samantha Fox had the poster.
Is she still hot?
In the late
Wow.
1900s.
Yeah, it was
Pretty much.
it
Yeah.
was a millennium ago, basically. But
I had that poster.
yeah, you had the
the
poster.
one
of
where
course.
she's topless.
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
What?
It's where
You had
it's,
boobs
it's
on your
the
wall?
Only,
Yeah, it's
well,
the
it
only
was
one you
the
could
only
get.
place you could see a poster with a topless
Yes.
woman in a record store.
Correct.
You could count on going into a record store, going through the posters, and seeing that Samantha Fox poster.
Without
there.
question. And that was the number
Yeah.
one draw actually at the store. We had lots of people just coming in, like kids especially, just to look through the posters. Oh my God. There was one other one. There was a Kiss one that had like a breast reveal that was like people would just come in. Back in the day, when
don't even
that's
know.
what got everybody excited. A poster at
Samantha
the music
Fox.
store.
Yeah,
only
that is
58 years old.
Oh, she still looks really good.
Slamming.
I did it.
I like older
Yeah.
women.
Holy moly.
Sure.
I totally dig older
You know,
women.
here's the funny thing. I'm going to circle back on this because when I talked to Lemmy at the channel, we talked about Samantha Fox.
That's awesome.
I asked him, "What's Samantha Fox like?" "She's a lovely young girl. She's a beautiful lady." And you know, he like just gave me this Lemmyism about how freaking awesome Samantha Fox was. That's all we talked about.
That's amazing.
But-
That's amazing.
But in that 30 seconds of conversation with Lemmy, Samantha Fox, and,
Full
and
circle.
here she is. Where she's coming up again tonight. So who knew?
Full circle with
Fucking
Lemmy.
full, yeah, man.
I
That's
don't know.
right.
I don't know.
Jesus. Wow.
Lemmy.
So tell me-
like,
tell
how
me-
many times do we have to correct you? Not Jesus, Lemmy. Lemmy.
Right? Yes, I know. I know.
You're right. You're right.
I just got to replace it in my vocabulary. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, man. Now they got that over at the Rainbow
No
Bar. they
offense
have
to
this
the Christians
statue.
out there. I'm just,
Of
you know,
course, of course.
it's just all in good fun. All a joke.
Shout out smoking popes.
They're
Yeah,
coming here.
Right.
They're coming to Boston
Are they?
in like October or something like that.
I will
kidding,
be
man.
front and center. For
That's
that
awesome,
Show. Have
man.
you guys ever seen them?
They're real.
Not live.
I've seen
I love
videos
them.
of them
So
live.
good. They're so fucking great.
Who's this?
The
Smoking
Smoking
Popes?
Popes.
Oh, the Smoking
Yeah.
Popes. Okay.
Yeah.
They're real talented.
Sounds like a band I would
If
like.
I could be one
Yeah.
thing in this world.
It's
Oh,
like
that's so
it's like
good.
a punk with a crooner.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a crooning.
Oh,
singer,
really?
Yeah. And it's their songs
sounds
about
fun.
like love and dating in maybe your late 20s. You know, like I just met a girl and you know now we're breaking up. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
There's-
I met another girl or something. You know.
They're a Chicago band, aren't they?
Chicago, yeah. That's why I thought they might be. At
I know,
that
like
gig.
Alkaline Trio was like really into them, and
Yeah,
I've seen
they're-
them like
they're a Chicago
I've seen
band.
them.
yeah,
10,
I love
10
Alkaline
times.
Trio.
And they're
Me
every
too.
every show gets better and better. The last time I saw them, they were like, I didn't think it was going to surpass the last show, but they did.
No shit.
They were that good. And
That's
it's just four
awesome.
guys. There's no effects. There's no sparklers and freaking smoke. It's just four guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you've got, like Geffen Records, like,
Right. Right.
footing the bill and everything, and you're charging 60, 70 bucks a ticket.
Yep.
You know what I mean? At
Yep.
least.
Yep.
Then there's probably going to be a minimum of the pyrotechnics and effects on the stage.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, this is a club,
I-
so they wouldn't be.
Right.
We're still fresh from the Great White experience back here.
oh,
that
Jesus
happened
Christ.
in our backyard.
Were you there?
I was gonna go.
But that's always better.
I was.
No,
gonna,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna go,
Glad
but
you
they
didn't.
put out the version of "Once Bitten, Twice Shy,"
Yeah.
and I was
The
so
Great White song?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a Mott the Hoople or Ian Hunter song, which was probably
Okay.
probably my favorite song, maybe of all time as a kid. The original version.
I had no idea that was a cover.
So in my opinion, they killed it. They made a great song, like terrible. And the reason they did it, they changed a little bit of the genuflect. If you listen to Ian Hunter sing it, he's British, and it's in a British accent. And then they LA'd it up. So fast forward to the hey, Great White's playing at the station. You want to go?
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
fuck those guys. They fucked up my Ian Hunter song, and they can go fuck themselves. I'm not going to see Great White.
That saved your
It
life.
saved my life.
That saved
It
your life.
absolutely
I would
saved
have
my
gone
life.
to see Great White for the Zeppelin covers. I thought they did great Zeppelin covers.
So I had seen
Right.
them
So
before.
Coverdale and Page.
Did you just say those words out loud? Wow.
I've said them before.
I remember that.
I think
I remember
me
what
and my
that
aunt
fucking
have a couple. That one album that they had.
Yeah.
Coverdale Page.
Yeah, with the slippery,
Yeah.
you know, sign. Yeah, I remember when that first came out because I was a big Zeppelin fan, and
Robert
I
Plant
remember
had
when I
his
saw the
solo
video.
stuff. Robert Plant had
What
like
was it, Shake My
Faded
Tree or some
Nation.
shit like
Shake
that?
my
Shake my
tree.
tree.
Yes.
God, what a pile of shit that was.
Things were terrible back then. They were so bad. And you know, take this again. This Great White song. This Great White came along. I didn't hate Great White before they did the song, but then they did it. I was like, you know, fuck these. You know, fuck them. This is terrible.
Dude, how many people died at that fire?
100,
Oh my God.
like 104.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had seen one of them the day before. I used to work at a music store, and he came in at Dale, and he was asking me, "Are you going?" I'm like, "Nah." You know, I didn't want to insult him by saying "fuck those guys," but you know,
Wow.
and he died. And I knew another kid who got stuck in the doorway and turned himself sideways,
Yeah.
and he lived.
Wow.
What?
Crazy.
Do you remember that, Will? The fucking fire at
You may not know of this. This was a nightclub
No.
fire in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Great White set off pyrotechnics inside this tiny club that had not
When
been.
was this?
This is in,
Like 03, 03?
03, something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have had no idea.
No,
about that.
it was national news, and it actually changed fire codes nationally because this place had been inspected. This place was like the Karen Reed investigation, evidence collection. Like, this guy didn't pay for his sprinkler systems because he paid off the frickin' the guy that owned the town or something, and they didn't have an appropriate fire extinguisher in the place, and it was made of wood.
Yeah.
And they lit off a sparkler, and it lit the foam on the ceiling, and people packed, they started running for the doors, and the door got jammed up, and the place burned to the ground.
104, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like,
That was wild.
I was one ticket away from being there.
Thank God you
I-
didn't
I
go.
know, but it was very.
What about fire exits? Like they didn't
got
have
jammed
fire
up.
exits?
So what?
What's a fire
Dude, look this
exit?
up because you as a
That's what I mean, it's 2003. It wasn't like it was 52.
as someone who's been to probably a lot of shows, you'll appreciate this because I never walk into a building and do not know where the exits are anymore, especially in a group. Because
I never did. I
well,
will now.
So what happened was, people saw the foam behind the band light on fire.
Yeah.
And it started to get bigger and bigger, and nobody thought the whole place would go up so quickly. But the manager of the band was like, "Audience, go that way." And there was an open door there. All the band ran out, and pretty soon that was consumed in flame, and nobody could go out that door. So they were all rushing towards the door at the back, which
What a nightmare.
got jammed up very, very quick, and it burned in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole place. Like when you see the pictures of it, it's horrifying.
It was between 01 and 03. It would have been 02.
It was around that time.
Yeah.
If you look up the station fire, you'll find it.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we don't need to go into that anymore. I just say, like, as far as
Oh, that's wild.
a cover song getting ruined, go back. Let's get back to Ian Hunter, because that motherfucker knows how to write a song. If you listen to the original version of Once Bitten, Twice Shy, you'll be shocked at how lo-fi it is. But it's 80 times what Great White turned it into. And that's all I'll say.
You know
I
who
believe
was
it.
also a really good musician that people overlook quite a bit is Charles Manson.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like this.
Talk about songwriter.
Like, yeah, dude.
That was a hit. It was actually pretty dope.
He had some good songs. Oh,
I've only
baby.
heard the
Dude,
one
he had
song.
soul. He had some soul, man.
He did. I mean, but again,
He rolled
goes
with
to
like
show
Brian
you-
Wilson and the Beach Boys, though.
Yeah.
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 He was like
Yeah.
Wasn't
He was MK Ultra.
Wasn't he down in Laurel Canyon with like them, with like that band?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was. He was hanging out with the Beach Boys. Fucking wild.
Jared Leto owns
Yeah,
that.
And he was like-
I remember. Yeah, it was
He's brainwashing people.
the Beach Boy.
Yeah.
The Beach Boy, the drummer, the one who drowned,
yeah.
was the one that was close to Manson. the
Yeah,
closest
that's
to
right.
Manson.
Right.
You gotta make a sacrifice if you
remember
want to make
correctly.
it big. Lady Gaga, Bill Michael Jordan.
Right?
Oh, we're going dark.
I'm just kidding. This is satire.
Yeah, but he really does. He,
Wait, what do I-
he
wait, what do-
actually has some decent songs.
What do I need to do to make it big?
We gotta
Sell my
sacrifice.
soul?
Yeah, something.
You.
A baby. Gotta kill
What's
a baby.
the thing they said in
My
Game
soul,
of
my
Thrones?
soul is not worth anything. Nobody's gonna want it.
Oh, that's not true. I want your soul.
Yeah.
They say a penis pump will make it big.
I don't need that.
Kevin. Yeah.
What?
Penis pumps.
Penis pumps. What about them? I don't use them.
I need a review.
I mean, I'll use one if you want me to.
I could never
I need a
afford one.
review.
It just seems like money that's because if you ever looked at the price of like a fleshlight or something like that, it's just like
No, how much are they?
I really expensive.
Really?
Enough for me to see it on a page and go, no fucking way.
I've
And
thought about it. They look fun. I just never looked at the price.
I've just,
Or what
you
about
know,
one of those
yeah.
booths in Japan they were talking about, where you just walk up to it and take a shit in it, and it just does its thing.
Oh,
You
really?
Give
You
your
stick your
seed to
dick in
this
it.
fucking machine.
I don't know.
Yeah,
how to do that.
to quote Jeffrey Lebowski, I still jerk off manually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tried and
Who's
true.
manually?
It worked. It works. If it ain't broke, don't fix
That's
it.
true. That's a fact.
The dude abides.
Exactly.
Fucking A, man. I mean, dude, so, I mean, not to make a quick
Yeah,
transition, but...
introduce me.
Oh, what do you mean?
Weren't you introduced already?
Yeah, you were introduced before the show.
Oh.
Brian,
Brian.
Will,
Ladies
Brian.
and
No, I
gentlemen,
meant like,
Brian.
what's he about? What's the show?
Will's show?
Yeah.
The Glarer?
Yeah.
Will, how would you describe his show? Brian's wondering.
I don't know.
Thank you, Kevin.
How would you describe it? I don't know.
I mean, you definitely dabble in true crime, and you're very... You do a great
Okay.
job of breaking shit down, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
caught a little bit of it.
Yeah, you've caught it before.
I watch all the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't put a label on it. It's a little of everything.
Well, you know what? For our audience, who may like some of them may not know you, what's your show about?
I honestly, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the center of it would probably be true crime.
Stop fucking trashing the studio.
But it's weird because there's like I'm fascinated with cases and I like to see, I like to see justice happen. I like to watch it unfold. And I'll have strong opinions about certain things involving the case quite a bit. But where I was led to mostly was like, I would actually criticize other channels that would cover true crime cases. Like say it was a missing kids case.
Yeah.
So if I saw somebody exploiting that missing child, I would just drag them on my channel and just make fun of that.
Appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would review people who were.
You're good at that. You're
Hell
really good
yeah.
at. You are good at that.
Hell yeah, I can get
So-
down with that.
Yeah, so I would enjoy doing that quite a bit, and then what the problem was, it associated me with this part of YouTube that I really was always a part of, and it just bothered me. There was a lot of drama, and I really wanted to separate myself from it, and then I really just kind of started over. Like I was pretty much like I kind of like told this whole community. Like I got drunk on somebody else's stream, actually, is
Right.
exactly how it happened. And I just blurted out what I've been thinking, and I was just like, you know what? Anybody who subscribed to me and subscribed to those channels, unsubscribe from me. Fuck you. I don't want anything to do with these fucking people. Blah blah blah. And I had a fucking meltdown over it. And then I was like, I was like, okay, let me just start fresh, and then I started talking about this case, and I had no idea that, because most of my audience right now are pretty much locals from where you guys are at,
Right.
Ooh.
which is pretty wild.
You had a
So,
fuckload
I mean-
of followers before that too, though. Not to derail what you're saying.
I did, but like I said, I mean, most people, they didn't unsubscribe, you know. Some people did. Like, I remember after that night, I lost like 300 subscribers or something like that. And I remember I was so wasted. I called the dude up whose channel I was on, and I was like, "Yo, like, what the fuck happened last night? Like, why did I lose so many fucking subs?"
Oh no.
He's like, "You don't remember?"
Oh,
And I was
no.
like, "No." And then I heard the stream.
Oh
you know,
God.
but I blacked out. I didn't remember. I drank.
How did
a whole
that
bottle of
feel?
Jameson.
How did it feel to listen back to it?
Honestly, I was like, well, wait a minute. It's because of that. And I was like,
Right,
oh, that's fine.
Awesome.
Because I had
You're
planned
speaking
on
truth.
doing this. I planned on doing it with more tact,
Yeah.
you know, but it was still,
You're
at
in the
the end of
moment.
the day, it was done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, that's fine.
I'm onto something.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
so,
awesome.
But yeah, nobody really unsubscribed, and then I think I was only at, just since I started covering the Karen Reed case, I gained a shit ton of subscribers, like the most I ever did from one case, that's for sure.
Rightfully so, too, man. Rightfully so.
So I was like, I was at like maybe like 18, 19 tops.
Yeah.
I think I was somewhere between 18 and 19,000 subs
Wow.
when I started talking about Karen Reed. And then I remember I did a stream with Turtle Boy at one point that put me over 20,000.
Yep.
And then now I'm at 36, I
Crazy,
think.
man. It's
Wow.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Something like that. It's gotten to the point where I just kind of like, it's not even something that I really think about.
Yeah.
I just really just like, I can't wait to hang out with the people in chat.
Well,
you
this,
know?
this is the
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I loosely covered this last time. You say what's on many people's minds.
Yep.
There is a consciousness that is out there, central consciousness. You're able to tap into it and put it to words as we're all thinking it.
It
This
is still
happens-
on YouTube.
So when you're let's say you've got any one of those witnesses on the stand up there and you're making the commentary, you're saying what we're all saying. You know, the words
Right.
from all of us are coming out of your mouth. It's like, well, he's right again.
Yeah.
You know, we all knew this was coming. But
Yeah, you're the best to watch in
It's
that.
engaging. It's engaging, and that's the thing. Like, there's only a couple of times where I've ever thought, oh, did he? I got, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't have every bomb can't hit. There's got to be one miss here and there. But I don't think you've ever had some of the people have shied away from the case in their commentary along the way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, let's say, I don't think Plevin will, but some of the other people who got in early on and then things happened to them. Maybe it's because you're from out of town, but they're locals, and some of them stopped broadcasting for a little while, and
Yeah, but
That's-
one guy in particular, like now he's doing better than ever.
correct.
Like,
They've all rebounded.
it's pretty wild. Yeah, he like there's only one. I just don't want to put him out there just 'cause, I don't want to.
Yeah, same
but
thing.
there's one creator that like kind of got freaked out. He was allegedly getting threats and whatnot, and then
Yep.
he just cut it out. And he was getting a decent amount of views.
was.
But now, like he's bounced back like triple
Yeah, absolutely.
the amount that he would normally get
And
prior to.
Deservedly so, because
Sure.
I think the way that this case has gone, if you say the wrong thing, if you say things that people, around here you could easily get threatened.
Yeah.
I mean they'll just call you out in public. But
Bunch of cunts.
I think that I know the guy you're talking about. I've met him several times. He's a great guy, and he's 100% on it. But he,
I love him. I
you
think
know,
he's great.
He took a step back because of what was going on. Because he probably was like, I didn't expect this, And I think a lot of people either sink or swim when it comes to that. you've never had a problem. You've just always sort of like
Sure.
stayed even keel. I've never seen anybody like jump into your chat and be like, "You fucking asshole." People are in Plevins, the 100 people that watch him, are all over his chat, and even the people that want to blow him, you can tell that they're not really. They're not like your people. Your people are, they're loyal. I guess that's a right or the wrong word. I don't know.
Yeah.
Loyal.
Well, what mostly impressed me about you, Will, like is when you picked up the case, how fast you fucking dove into it, and you just breathed like you were a breath of fresh air to listen to because, like like Chris was saying, you're not from around here. You had a totally fresh set of eyes and brain, And the way you delved into it and in your thoughts on it, like he said, I mean, you read everybody's mind. The majority of people, anyway. Those who don't have crusty pants, and
I all I do is think out loud.
Yeah.
On my channel, that's literally all I do. I never know what I'm gonna say. I might know to some degree what I'm gonna talk about. I mean, you have to title your video something.
Of course, yeah.
And a lot of the times it's when there's something new. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go over this 5th juror that's come forward. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that. Are we sure it's a 5th juror now? Because I know
I honestly couldn't tell you because I haven't read the document yet. I have it, but I haven't read it. Normally, what I like to do is go over it and kind of react to it. Because again, I would prefer that you guys always get the most honest from me. The most honest side of me. So there's no way to not do that when I'm reacting to something.
Right.
So a part of me is like, oh my god, I gotta go live right now, this is new, I gotta be one of the first, and then I'm just like, well, that's not why people watch me.
No,
that's true.
Like,
true.
Like the whole world could talk about it for the next 2 days, and then I'll just because people are gonna go, well, what does the GLARER think?
Right.
You've
probably found in your travels that there are people that will ebb and flow, but there's still going to be, there's a core audience that's going to watch at some point. Like new GLARER show, I'm watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even if it's just in the background, they'll put it on and podcast it.
I put you on one of my work.
If you're going to analyze the metrics, you must have all of that available to you, like what times people listen and
Not really. I mean, you do. I mean, you have analytics. But I never really plan anything based on those analytics.
Yeah.
I try to be mindful. I try to be mindful of other creators that I get along with.
Sure.
And if they already have a live stream planned, I try to avoid it. Now, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Like if that's the only time I can go live, then sorry,
Right. Right.
But I try to be mindful, and I don't expect anyone to do that with me. It's just something that I prefer to do.
Well,
you know what I mean? So it's not like if somebody goes live when I go live, I'm gonna go, what a dick.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude,
well, you know what? Like everybody's so faithful in this little microcosm of like Karen Reed trial creators, like the content creators like yourself and like Melanie Little and all the other ones. Like they're so faithful that you could go live at the same time as Melanie does. It doesn't matter because if they're watching Melanie, they're gonna go back and watch yours.
They're gonna watch you after.
They'll catch the replay, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And vice versa, man. Yeah.
And the thing is the chat is the experience with my channel. A big part of that experience of watching is catching it live so that you can participate in the chat.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
it is fun. Your chat
people
rules.
get along. Yeah, my chat, they really get along with each other. It's something that I won't squander and I don't take for granted. So
well, you can get away a lot in your chat, like over in Melanie's, and I use her. There's a few people I listen to, but she's awesome. She is great, but you can't say whatever you want over there because she runs kind of a clean ship,
She does, and most channels do that,
Yeah.
Ad revenue is a big thing, and it also helps minimize any drama that might happen.
For sure.
So I get that.
But your chat's a fucking riot, dude.
That way. I just don't care.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. Is if I'm going to be dropping F-bomb after C-word bomb, and I'm just doing everything that I do. How am I going to sit here and censor you now? YouTube will automatically delete certain comments or not let them be shown.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not, I don't have control over that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and if somebody is just pissing off the rest of the chat, you know, to the point to where then I'll get rid of them,
Yeah.
you know, or
Yep.
Cherry will get rid of them. Cherry is, it's her chat.
Amazing.
She
Amazing.
does what she.
Yeah, I love
It's
what
cool.
you guys got going on, like the back and forth with you and her.
So
really
just
good.
a random question, because people may not know: is Cherry in proximity to you when the show is going on, or is she remote?
No,
She's like across the ocean, right?
she's literally on the other side of the Atlantic.
That is
Yeah.
fucking
That
phenomenal.
is. That's awesome.
That is phenomenal. That is
Yeah.
so great. You know,
She's great.
that's
She's the best thing that ever happened to my channel.
yeah,
for sure.
being able to monitor stuff. Yeah.
At the very least, my chat.
So how did she come about? Was she a fan of the show? And
There was another case that I started talking about,
yeah,
and there were other creators that were talking about it that she followed, and then when I started talking about it, she showed up in my chat from time to time. Or maybe I went on panel on somebody else's channel who she already followed. I think that's what happened. And I saw how she moderated that chat, and I'd never seen anyone moderate a chat so effectively.
Yep. Yep.
Where, I mean, she's dropping links and she's timing people out who are getting, you know, and just on top of it, deleting comments that you know, that need to be deleted. And you know, I've become more lenient about that stuff. You know, but it's gotten to the point where, like, she understands what I want out of the chat. She understands, and I respect her as far as how well she does it and how supportive and how helpful she is with my channel already, that, you know, I give her pretty much carte blanche in the chat. Very, very, very rarely do I have to be like, hey, when this happens in the chat, make sure to do this, or, you know, very rarely. And she's the only moderator I talk to.
Right.
She's the only one that, like, again, I do everything I can to avoid drama.
Yeah.
I don't chit chat with people behind the scenes.
Yep.
And it sounds kind of like I'm a dick, but the truth is I've had problems with this, and people who I trust and become friends with, where I'm just, and then you can't change the fact that it is virtual, and there is that buffer zone of that virtual reality that you cannot escape from, and they're just not gonna respect you the way they would a friend in person when it comes down to it. You know, because there's really no consequences. So, you know, I've just learned to not, you know, I've learned to set boundaries for myself, that I'm okay with people. If people think I'm a dick for it, then that's okay. That's less drama than me having to deal with drama. You know, you not liking me for that is an easy get over.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in comparison to what could happen.
It was explained to me almost that succinctly by somebody who lived in New York. He lived downtown New York City, high rise everywhere. I was like, so what do you have, like apartments, you know, apartment parties where people in your building all get together and whatnot? He's like, no, we never talk to our neighbors. You don't talk to people in your building. I'm like, why not? He goes, you might not like them. You might find out something about them and know that you don't want to be friends with them, and then all of a sudden you have knowledge that you don't want to know about. And I was like, damn, bro, is it that like cutthroat there? And he's like, trust me, you don't want to date people in your building. You don't want to be friends with.
Hell no.
I was like, wow, okay. It made sense though, because
it goes sour. You got to live right next to him.
Right next to him, exactly. He's like, there's plenty to do. There's plenty of other places to go where you're not going to see people, you know. But
dude, ID Channel has a true crime show just strictly based on neighbors. Who have had where these hardcore crimes take place because of a feuding couple of neighbors.
They made a whole
series about it, like season after season.
Yeah,
That's
kind
people
of
what it is.
brilliant.
people ate it up, and they did.
That's how often
nothing.
it happens.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
brilliant.
true.
Instead
It's-
of doing something monumental, they fucking watch this stupid ass show.
Oh,
about-
dude, I wish I created that show. That sounds awesome.
I agree with you. Like I'll have the ID channel on for the same reason that I'll play 80s music.
Sure.
Like I can either ignore it or I'll love it.
yeah,
But most of the time the ID channel stuff is just something that like, okay, I can't find anything to watch and I'll just put that on
Right.
and then I'll be messing around on my phone or something.
you
and
can
not
always
really paying
you can
attention
always
to it.
find background ID, IG shows.
Yeah.
that are just true crime or whatever they are, cops, whatever like body cam video, whatever it is, something that's running in the background while you do other things. But that's why people are thirsting for what you are doing, because now they have somebody that is commenting on their their interest in real time. It's not a recording. It's not going to be played down the road later. It's as it happens, and they're watching it, and they're watching it through you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people don't watch television anymore. They look it up on the internet, and then if
Right.
they want to watch the case,
Yeah.
I mean, I pay for cable just for the internet.
Oh my
totally.
god!
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it comes in my internet package, and
I've
it's
never-
more expensive to just get the internet.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
we have
So-
cable.
It's like extortion.
I've
though.
never watched it. I don't
Right,
watch any
yeah, they
cable shows.
monopolize it
Everything
to
that
the
I
extent
watch
it
is
does.
either YouTube or I go to the internet and look something up on there. But I never.
Yeah, like
would never put on
I'm
Channel 5.
subscribed to a lot of streaming services, like for movies, because I
Yeah.
watch a lot of movies.
Right. Netflix.
But that's really,
Exactly.
yeah, like nothing I watch. I just refuse to watch commercials at this point.
Right.
We could just connect to the ether and just share information that way, but we're not allowed to.
That's
No,
a whole
that's-
other episode.
Yeah, I don't need to know what's out there. Like, I'll go to the store and I'll just get what I need, or I'll
Yes.
realize that I don't have something, and then I'll go get it. I don't need a bunch
Yeah.
of advertisements telling me and shoving it in my face.
Yeah.
you know?
Hunter gatherer
Um,
type.
Yeah.
I dig it.
But I get it that I mean, when I was a kid, I'd see a commercial and be like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that. I want that.
You know what? You know, we can get into that if you really want to know about when broadcasting was allowed to advertise to children. That act was signed by Ronald Reagan, and he put products in children's eyes, essentially putting them in the driver's seat. The parents no longer were parents. The television was the parent.
It's like hypnotism.
Daddy, I want a Happy Meal. Oh, you want a Happy Meal? Will that make you happy? And next thing you know, the kids are driving the bus. And that's why we have the sort of parental lack of ability to govern like a generation before did.
Oh,
Because now
sure.
television is running their lives, and it's come 50 times further than that with the phone, where you're just getting blasted with information. I mean, I'm going to drive home tonight and look at my phone, and there's going to be stuff on there that we talked
It's
about.
constant. Yeah.
Soon-
I mean, and kids just, I mean, you see a kid nowadays, he or she's sitting in the back seat with AirPods in and staring at an iPad, or doing this on an iPad.
Yep.
And it's just the way that is. It pacifies the kids, and the kids want it so bad. Like they don't even want to be dealing with reality. And
True.
they'll it's funny because they'll deal with the practicalities of reality better than adults do out of spite. Like kids are smarter because
Right.
they have all that information.
Yes, right.
So they're cocky as shit.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're, like I remember I couldn't even help my kid with his homework.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah, same.
there's
Same.
new math. I don't new math.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know
I
the
don't know
old
what the
math.
fuck that is.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, I was bad at old math.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even do long division. Like,
Nope.
what is going on?
Nope.
It's wild.
Yeah, is that like the
It's-
Common Core math when they
That was
started
created by
introducing
like
that?
Bill Gates and people to like
Well,
make people.
well, I remember the Biden administration. No, the
keep people
Barack
stupid.
Obama's administration brought in Common Core math, and everything changed. Like, yeah, you couldn't teach your kids math anymore because they're doing it completely different.
Yeah.
2 + 2 is 5, but you have to you have to show your work.
Right.
Yeah.
They took that away from the household.
Yes.
Which
Yep.
was
Yes.
the connection of helping a kid with their homework.
Yep.
They're doing that
You know?
on purpose.
No, the family unit going down. No.
When,
no,
my,
yeah,
when, my,
right.
when my son was 5, this was about the ballpark when things started morphing out of homework being done on paper, and they started doing iPads and stuff. And he still didn't do his homework. It was like, this is the easiest thing in the world to do, bro. All you got to do is check a bunch of things. Here's your electronic device. He's still, like, it didn't help him learn any better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
Some of us just aren't going to learn the school way. We're going to learn a different way.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it is, you know? That's why songs like this get written, because I
Absolutely.
didn't take lessons.
Yeah.
I learned, that sounds good, you know?
Right.
Yeah. That's fucking true, man.
Bringing it back to Karen Reed.
Yeah. Wait, I know. Yeah. We haven't delved in it. Well, you know, it's been a nice conversation. It's kind of been a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The Karen Reed thing has been fucking constant.
Right. No,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
actually, because we did this before, and
Yeah.
and it was a great conversation.
It
as far
was.
as
I'm so
the
sorry.
I mean, it's fine, but the thing is, yeah, like I'm actually more relieved that we're just having
Yeah.
just a regular conversation.
just
about
hanging
every
out.
No,
day.
it's true. It's true.
I heard they were gonna Game of Thrones this case.
What the fuck? What, scorch it all?
Just
I didn't watch
destroy
Game
it
of
all
Thrones,
at the
so I'm
end.
not
Just
getting
throw
that
it out.
reference.
What'd you say, Will?
Oh, okay. You mean like how shitty the ending was?
They're just gonna
Yeah.
throw it out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. Game over. And everybody's, I mean, there's people that have quit their jobs to become, you know,
Yeah.
not quit their jobs, gone on leave. There are people that are committed to the fundraising and all of the you know, the standouts and whatnot. And
Yeah,
again, these people are like, they're normal folks. They have regular lives and everything, but they're doing an awful lot to keep this sort of machine rolling. And
Buying a lot of popcorn.
a lot of popcorn. Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Like, okay, so it's going to the right cause. They're reaching a lot lot to
Yeah.
be able to generate that kind of revenue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. It's,
Yeah.
It's a national. It's a bigger than national thing. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Dude, if it weren't for this case, I wouldn't know what people pay for when they hire expensive attorneys and bring in experts and shit, you know? Like, I've never
Yeah.
been into, like, the fucking guts of a case before and how, like, what you're really paying for when you get good attorneys.
Yeah.
Like, she's gotta
It's so
put them
expensive.
up in her hotels. She's gotta fucking feed people, essentially, and pay the experts to come in.
No,
like,
it's
that's,
crazy.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
I thought my
Yeah,
divorce lawyer
like-
was expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if that's another strategy that they could be using, is maybe they're just trying to wear her down until she runs out of
Oh,
money.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They do it to
But-
everybody. It's just going to take a little longer
Yeah.
because she has money.
Right.
The rumor is that she's selling her house. I don't know how true that
I
is.
saw that. It's
but-
on the market.
listed,
yeah.
yeah.
It's on the market.
It's a nice
So,
house.
like, I mean, you know, she's obviously not doing great. But
Sure.
the good thing is that there's enough people that are going to be as committed to this until she's
yeah.
set free.
Yeah.
you know,
Which is
Right.
fucking amazing.
That's
man.
what it's
She'll be
required.
okay.
Though. That's what's required. I think in the big picture, yeah, she's going to be fine. If I was her, I'd be living on Fiji the second the gavel hits.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have my plane tickets ready to go. I'd be out of town and
Yeah. The lawsuits, man, like, that she could have. Like, the amount of, like, just the suing that she could fucking do herself when this whole thing ends.
Right.
Yeah.
Holy
That's-
shit.
But that all costs money too.
true.
Yeah,
true.
right,
Yeah,
That
you
all
have to
costs
fight
money
that.
too.
Yeah.
But there's a point. There comes a point where
man, it takes forever to get a settlement. and-
yeah.
Yeah.
And
God, it's
comes a point where you just want your life back and
such
you
a
don't even
bitch.
care. You'll drop. You'll let money go
Right.
sometimes because it just doesn't matter that much. you
Right.
know, like to get into that.
Think
legal
of her
process.
poor parents and them,
Yeah.
what they're going
know,
through.
I
you
know.
Like,
Yeah.
Her father,
As
man,
old as they
I
are.
weep. I feel him inside. He is just, again, I never met him, but he is the guy you want as the father.
Yeah.
Totally.
Anybody's
1000%.
father. He's the kind of guy that you
Right.
want to be anybody's father.
Yep.
A good guidance.
And it hurts you to see him.
Yes,
it hurts
absolutely.
you to see him because he's clearly,
It's taken a
getting
toll
up
on him.
there in years.
Yep.
I
But-
feel like in the last couple of
But
years he's
he
noticeably.
also, when you speak to the guy, he'll, there's no. It's just like Chris was talking about. I mean, there's no backing down in this guy. Like,
No.
there's just none.
No.
Yeah,
It's
Will. Look,
crazy. Like,
we kind of
Her
touched
family
down
is-
on that last week, and you had a chance to come up here and you met her parents and everything. Like, what was that experience like? If you don't mind rehashing it.
they were great. Her father is he's friendly,
Yeah.
but he keeps to himself, and he's not there to be social.
Yeah, he doesn't want this.
So
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
but he's friendly. Her mom is just incredibly just a ray of sunshine, really pleasant, really personable.
Yep.
And just really kind. And her sister and her cousin, her brother, all just great. Everybody's just really kind.
Yep.
Whose testimony
They're
when you
very
were
tight
I'm sorry.
family.
Sorry, go ahead, dude.
I was just saying they're a very tight family. You
Yeah.
can tell.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That day when you came down, was it 1 or 2 days that you were here for?
2 days.
2 days. Yeah. Who
Three
did you
nights.
who did you see? Whose testimonies were you there for? Were you there during like Jen's and?
No, I was there for Buchanan's
Yeah.
testimony, and then and I didn't have a seat initially for the next day.
Yep.
But they offered for me to be able to sit in the courtroom for his cross, because they were like, "Oh, it sucks. You're not going to be here for the cross."
Yep.
Yeah.
They were like, "If we can get you a seat, do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course."
Absolutely.
Because originally the plan was just to hang outside with all the supporters,
Right.
Which I would have been more than content to do.
Sure.
But even a couple of them were just kind of like, "You need to be in there."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can't be in there for the cross. Like, we want to hear what you're going to say about it and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, so yeah, it was intense, because that second day I was in there with the first day I was in there with
Lally, you got lallied.
yeah, and it was
Ah.
funny because I was still reacting, like physically, just kind of like rubbing my face,
Right. Right.
and there were times where Karen Reed's mom would touch my leg when Buchanan would say something that was just a blatant lie.
Yeah.
And Karen would look back
Yeah.
at her mom,
Yep.
and it was just like, because she's just like, and then eventually she was just like, yeah, this dude is lying.
Yeah.
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 And then the next day for cross, that was when the jury first saw. I'm really glad I was in the courtroom for that day. Out of all days, I wouldn't replace it for any other day.
Right.
Because the difference between being in there
Oh,
and
yeah.
watching it on a stream is,
Yeah, man.
you get to see the jury.
Yes.
So seeing the jury react to seeing John's tire move the first time when
Yeah.
Karen backed into
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
they closed up
right.
on it, and that was, I mean, the jury
Dude.
clearly reacted to that.
Yeah.
And then the they realized that and it was after lunch
The flip,
that they came back and were like, the
Yeah. Right.
video's
Yeah.
inverted.
Yep.
Yeah. Man.
They already knew it,
Right.
but you know what I mean? Like,
got
they
called
went in
out.
there knowing it.
Yeah.
They went in there knowing it that morning.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that, like, I think it was after lunch where they were just like, yeah. So, and I was like, oh my God, the jury
Yeah.
was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
And yeah, it was wild, dude.
That's
and
surreal,
then,
man. That is surreal. Like you said, because you're watching it on the computer, you're covering it, from where you are, but then to be there, like that's surreal.
Yeah, yeah, Yannetti came up to me and Brian right after, like right that afternoon when court adjourned,
Yep.
and like immediately came up to us because we were just in his way. It wasn't like he wanted us to know. It was just like he was so excited we were the first people in his path. So he's like, "This is awesome. The
Yeah.
jury now sees that the prosecution is trying to deceive them, and we're trying to tell the truth."
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
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 So that was a big turning point in that trial.
Yep.
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 Absolutely.
It was great.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. How do you feel about the jurors being split on the second count for manslaughter? Like, I don't think. All right, we all agree she didn't do it, but do you worry that this is a long road to manslaughter? Like,
I mean, I think that they're going to do everything they can because, I mean, it does make sense that they would try to wear her down,
yeah,
financially,
right.
you know, and even mentally, you
Yeah.
know,
Sure.
by just dragging this on and on and on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, Judge Bev is going to decide to retry this case. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
of
No
it.
doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know, this is one of those situations where the defense is doing what they can, and they're not wrong in what they're doing, but
They're at the
the chance
advantage.
that they're
It's their
taking-
advantage right now.
they are. And what they're doing though is they're calling out Judge Beverly Cannoni, who
Right.
already doesn't like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and what they're doing is they're putting her in a position to where if she rules in their favor, there's no escaping this one thing that she's going to have to face is the fact that she fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
She would be admitting to a mistake,
I
which
agree.
is not giving those instructions
Yeah.
or not asking the jury specifically if all charges they were deadlocked on, or is
Yeah.
it a one or two specific charges.
Yep. It was
So
so-
that's her mistake.
Yeah.
Fucking 1000%.
Right. So she would, if she was going to rule the defense's favor, that means that she has to admit to this mistake
Right.
that the defense, who she already hates and has so much contempt for, is calling her out on. That's we're dreaming if we think that this isn't going to trial again.
No, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's just so now we know of 4 jurors that came out. The most recent one not being today, but the most recent 4th juror was very direct, and was very, honest about what they were observing and what happened, and they were the most forthcoming, and they went directly to the defense instead of having, a middleman. But now today, was it today that it came out that like a 5th person signed a petition and sent it in?
They filed a motion.
Yeah, filed a motion.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I just haven't gone over it yet.
But I mean, for all we know, it could be
Right.
one of the same jurors that already stepped forward, or it could be a 5th juror, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a 5th juror, but
Yeah.
again, I haven't read it yet. So anything that I say on this subject, please take with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it-
same
at
here.
best.
Same here.
At best.
Yeah.
It's a splintered story at this point. There's so
Yeah.
many things to,
All we can do is speculate right now.
Right.
That's all we're doing, people, speculating.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really, from what I'm hearing about it, there's talk in there about feeling intimidated.
Yep,
Yeah,
I saw
by
that.
Karen
Yeah.
Reed's supporters, which
Right.
is fascinating because all it does is reinforce, if this is true,
Yeah.
it reinforces my theory that if this is the juror that we think it is,
Higgins.
who is the ex-cop,
Yeah.
who,
okay.
you know, this is
Right.
I suspect he was a plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I just
Right.
I refuse, considering everything we know about these McAlbert people.
Yep.
It would just be naive at this point, in my opinion,
Right.
to not think that there was some sort of reasoning behind them choosing that one day
Right.
Sure.
of jury instructions to sit in the gallery behind Paul O'Keefe
Yeah.
and face that jury. I
Yeah.
find it more than a coincidence. I think it's naive. It has to be
No.
naive to think that it's not
Absolutely.
more than a coincidence.
No question.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've seen like an anti-Karen Reed like crowd going after you know, the free Karen Reed crowd, and ridiculing them for crazy conspiracies and shit. And it's like, well, you know, you're throwing rocks at glass houses here because you believe in a conspiracy, essentially. You believe that a innocent woman, in their mind, a guilty woman, took her expensive lawyers to frame a house full of cops and their family. Like, dude, that to me is more unbelievable than anything.
Right. It's funny because I was on Turtle Boy's stream last night, and he was going over some stuff that took place in a particular, you know, Karen Reed is guilty Facebook group.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Yeah, keep going. I saw that.
So he was going over some of this stuff, and I happen to know the main admin of that very well. I have a lot of history with this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. So you know the person. I got you.
Yeah, canceled Karen.
Yeah.
That's how we'll refer to her.
Yeah.
And you've seen me do a couple of streams where most people in the chat are going, "Who the fuck is this?"
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but now people know a little bit more of who she is now. Because what I do, she's been booted off of YouTube twice. I'm getting off track here, but she's been booted off of YouTube twice. And she's now only does Patreon streams.
Right.
So now I have plants in her Patreon to where they'll download her stream and I'll stream it and I'll review it just to troll her. Like,
Sure.
I don't even care if I don't get views on it.
Right.
It's just to piss her off.
Yeah, right.
It's just to take and fuck with her money.
Dude, she has to be a giant asshole.
She's the worst.
Yeah.
She got sued for $10 million for defaming the victim of a possible murder, but it was ruled a suicide.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So it's actually a similar Sandra Birchmore type situation.
Yes.
But the thing is I'm not entirely convinced that he was murdered just yet either. I need more information. But but the thing is she really trashed, because this woman is adamant that her son did not commit suicide. Right. So she's adamant about it, and she's saying, you know, and this woman, canceled Karen, just attacked her and just threw a bunch of lies out there about her, but this woman wasn't going to take it.
Good.
And so she filed a $10 million lawsuit of defamation against her, which she doesn't have.
Who the fuck has $10 million? I love that, though. She went high as fuck. She was like, I'm going to take her for $10 million.
I'm going to destroy this woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's what happened. And she didn't even like hire a lawyer to defend herself. She denied being able to go to Mississippi for the hearings. And they even gave her the option to attend telephonically, and she never showed, never picked up the phone.
Right.
You know, and in response to motions filed against her, she would just say, "Stop harassing me."
Yeah.
It's just really ridiculous.
With the legal system, stop harassing me.
So, really ridiculous. Yet she'll talk like she's an expert on the law when she's on her, you know, channel.
That's
so it's just really funny that turned out that way. The judge ended up, of course, understanding she doesn't have $10 million.
Sure.
And ordered her to pay $500,000, $500,000.
Holy fuck.
So she'll be in debt for that for the rest of her life.
Yeah, she's not paying enough.
But that's just the only thing that she was held accountable for.
Right.
She did this for years to people.
Yep.
So I take
man?
pleasure. I take full pleasure, just personal pleasure in trolling her.
Yeah, so she's a cunt.
Absolutely.
We can safely say she's a cunt.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
I know.
Wow.
You know, that. Who freaking does that?
I do.
You know, like, who freaking does that? That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know who
people who are desperate for attention. They don't realize that, like, you might get a shit ton of people show up in your chat but you'll be a flash in the pan.
Yeah. No,
you know,
no
like eventually people get sick of that.
Yep.
People are going to catch on to you and what you're doing, and then they're just, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's a
So
mind fuck,
at the
dude.
cost of having a chat full of people that go, who the fuck is this lady? GLARER,
Right.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
At the cost of that and
Yep.
looking insane to my chat just out of the sheer sake of being petty,
Yeah.
I fucking stream her behind a paywall bullshit.
Yes.
And troll her.
Yeah, fuck.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
good for you, buddy. Wait, dude,
Fuck her.
I
She
never.
sucks.
Well, like speaking of just like batshit crazy people that do things I have no understanding of. That JRL dude or JLR, I had no idea who that
Yeah.
was until you were talking about him, and then I like looked into some of the shit that you were saying on the show, and another girl.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember her
Just
name.
read his Wikipedia.
Dude,
That's all you need to do.
yeah,
fucking
Read his Wikipedia. It's insane.
Wild.
It's all true.
Yeah.
It's all true.
Wow, man.
All of it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with that guy.
Right,
And
right.
there's the video that this other creator put together that I went over. That's like an hour long, and it's just all kinds of shit about him. And of course,
Is
and I
that a
called it.
woman?
I
Is
knew
it? Is
was
that
gonna
a?
happen.
Is that a girl? The other creator you're talking about that did that?
Yeah.
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 I think I saw that. I couldn't think of her name, but
Deets on the streets.
yes, Deets on the
Deets on the
streets, right?
Streets, I
Yeah,
know that name,
dude, that was a
Yeah.
really crazy fucking video. That
Yeah,
dude is
she-
fucking
she-
wild.
When she puts her mind to it, she makes amazing videos.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
informative and
Yeah.
very fact driven to the core.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about him, I knew he was going to show up in Boston.
You
at some
called
point.
that, yeah.
I knew it.
You
Yeah.
called it. I
Um,
remember that.
Right. I knew Dolly was going to show up.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
sure enough. That's why I didn't tell anybody I was going out there because
Yeah.
I know that they would. They're just looking for drama.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
JLR showed up hoping to get publicity for getting in the legendary Turtle Boy's face
Right.
Yeah.
and putting pressure on him, and
Yeah.
Turtle Boy handled that like fantastic.
Like
Absolutely.
a pro. He handled that like a
Absolutely.
pro.
And-
Look
and-
at his shoes. Look at
Yeah, right. Yep.
So childish. It was beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that guy tried to stick his dick in the proverbial mashed potatoes with the Karen Reed trial. Like did you notice that though? He dipped in, but like he got out. Like
Yeah, he wasn't there long.
It really separated the creators
Yes.
who actually are interested in learning about a case and doing research and the ones that are just jumping on a bandwagon
Right.
because
Yep.
there's talk about it.
Yeah.
So that and that showed, I mean, that was Ick and Mel, that was JLR, that was Dolly, that was all of these people that all they did is simple. It boils down to they simply refused to actually look at the documents that were made available to everyone.
Yes.
They refused to do that, and they realized that they didn't know what they were talking about,
Right.
and then they just shied away from it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, man. I even made a comment on his video when he first got here. I was like, dude, you have no idea what you're doing in Boston. Like, you should fucking leave.
Not the spot for you, dude.
This is one of these places where he could walk into the wrong neighborhood and something would happen to him by accident.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
mean,
I
shot his
mean,
mouth off,
you
you
just
know?
look at the way he was handled. Like
Yeah.
most people, when he gets in, people avoid and they run away and
Yeah.
they cower to him. You know,
Yeah.
where
Yep.
like
Someone's gonna
Turtle
cross
Boy
his
being
face.
A native. There's something in the DNA of
Yeah.
Massachusetts people where
Yeah.
like Turtle Boy's instinct was, I already see this dude.
Yeah,
I
right.
already know what he's doing, so I'm just going to I see him for the little insecure little cunt that he is.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm going to pick at little things that I know he's probably insecure about.
Right.
Like the fact that his fucking shoes are bobos.
Right.
Childish
Yeah.
shit. Just taking that old 13-year-old inside yourself
Yeah.
that was really mean,
Yep.
but really creative and,
And
funny.
deservedly so
and-
to the guy, you know.
Right. Yeah. He knew that this guy was going to be streaming it on his channel. He's like, I'm going to make this guy look stupid on his own shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
Yep.
you do it.
Yep.
And it's great.
And Turtle Boy's been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
So he didn't
Right.
start with the Karen Reed case. He's
Right.
been exposing, you know, the ratchet
The
world for
Oh,
you
for
know,
like
for a
since
long
yeah.
time.
I
For a
was
long
reading his
time.
articles back in like 17 or 2018,
Yes,
like
correct.
that far back.
Yep,
yeah.
yep. It wasn't always video. It was, you know, but it takes a certain like you're saying, people in New England, they're not gonna take that shit for very long.
Nope.
I don't
Right.
imagine he would do very well in New York either. But
No.
specifically here, they sort of stamp out that kind of tripe. You know, they just won't tolerate it.
Right.
You know, he's not going to make anybody famous in Canton on being an asshole. He's not even going to make himself famous. He looked like an idiot coming up here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he did.
he
Right.
probably
That's what
he
everybody
probably-
does. There's no beating that. That's what I love. Like
Right.
I've never been more like grateful for a community
Yeah.
than having all of these Massachusetts locals.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you can't be like I am and just generally be successful on YouTube. You can't.
Correct.
Like you have to play ball. You
Yeah.
have to fucking sit there and substitute the word rape with R
Yeah.
or SA instead of
SA.
sexual assault. You have to
Yeah.
do all this shit for ad revenue and I watch this shit and I'm just like, dude, I refuse to do that. I am not going to talk to a bunch of adults
Yeah.
like this because for some reason, what's the worst that can happen? It's like consumers, like or not consumers, but companies, advertisers don't want to be partnered with me.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that.
Right.
And you make sense on the dollar with that shit too.
Right.
So it's just, I mean, unless you have like hundreds of thousands of subs, but
Yeah.
like to me, it's just not worth it to
No.
have to censor myself,
No.
try to put on an act, be more organized.
Dude,
Like I'm grateful. I know that I would have been doing this for 10 people
Yeah.
after the whole
Right.
thing happened, but
Mm.
for some reason, like Kismet,
Yeah.
the people in Massachusetts liked me,
Yeah.
and then now here we are, and
Yeah.
and that's got to be something to do with the DNA in Massachusetts, where you guys just are the few and far between of the majority of people on YouTube who want someone to censor themselves. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's smoking on his
Right.
stream.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I've had people unsubscribe because of that, because they're just like, oh my God, how dare he? Is
Oh my
he
God.
really lighting a
Heathen.
cigarette on his stream?
This table,
And
man.
I'm just,
Clutching their
Like,
pearls.
I-
Oh, what's he doing? He's
Right.
smoking. Oh my God.
My
I'm not doing
our
it to look
table's
cool.
fucking
I'm a
laughing
smoker,
at
and
you
this
right
is
now.
some nerve-wracking shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
wish
is.
I didn't smoke, but like I so people
Well, they will speak their mind. They will let you know.
They'll-
But, it's your-
yeah, there's
it's your
rules that you
show.
got to follow that for fickle people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can't do that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not wired that way. And so I just got really lucky that there just happens to be a geographical fucking area that people are predisposed to fucking feeling the same way I do
Oh
about
yeah.
that shit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't
Like
tolerate
it's genetically predisposed to this, and I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just grateful for it because
Well,
I never
dude,
expected it.
Dude, I love the impromptu show you did the other day on the Tenacious D debacle. Like, speaking of like freedom of speech and all that shit, like you really mean what you say, man. I respect the fuck out of that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
what you
I
had
meant
to say
every
was-
word of that shit too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, all I wanted to do is make sure. Listen, if you're calling for Tenacious D's cancellation, and you ever complained about anybody else
Right.
being canceled, you're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just know that shit. Just know that shit before you start fucking tweeting shit.
Yeah.
Now, do it. Sure. Knock yourself out.
Yep.
Exercise your freedom of speech by all means. I
Yep.
encourage it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you you're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. There's
Jack Black's parents worked at like Raytheon or like Missileville, like somewhere like that.
Yeah, I believe it.
They
Everyone's
were like
connected.
scientists.
Yeah, a lot of
white,
people.
white
And,
sands.
and I'm not trying to dictate how people feel about the whole thing.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
I'm
of
just
course not.
saying, like,
You're sharing your
I mean,
feelings.
I have my opinions about what was said on that. I expressed them. I talked about them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Honestly, I mean, the truth is, I don't give a fuck that they said it. you
Right,
know,
right,
honestly.
right.
Yeah.
But I understand how it probably upset a lot of people. I understand
yeah.
why it upset
Man.
people.
Sure, sure.
It just didn't, in particular, upset me. Not because I want Trump to get shot. Not because I don't like Trump. None of that.
Right,
right.
It's
right.
because they're comedians.
It's Tenacious D.
Right. They're comedians,
Right.
dude.
Kinda,
This is what they
yeah, they're
do.
kind of gay
They're-
anyway.
Dude, you've been listening to them forever. Like, you know them as a two. They don't condone violence. They're not fucking violent people. They're practically hippies, and they make amazing music.
They're fucking hippies.
I tell you what,
yeah.
they are getting the most fucking ratings they have ever gotten now.
That's not true.
Right now.
Dude, you know how
Everybody's got to be looking them up right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
You're around people and you have a certain sense of humor, but like you're around certain people in private, and then your shock value goes higher because you know it'll make that person laugh,
right?
You know, but it's in private. You know what I mean? You're saying things that you would never let anybody hear you say because that person knows you don't mean it. You're just trying to be shocking, and it's funny. But
as long as there's not a microphone,
Kyle Gass. Right. Kyle Gass just kind of he that line was blurred to him at that moment for whatever reason.
Sure.
And that's it. That's
Dude,
what I think happened. I don't think nobody you gotta be a fool if you think that he wants Trump dead.
Well, if you listen to the way he says it too, he delivers it with the intent of just being funny. Yeah, he's just, and he even like holds it back a little because he's like, I'm gonna say something I shouldn't say, but I wish just don't miss next time.
Right.
Like he really held it back, and you could tell that was like it was a delivery of a fucking joke. That's what that was.
Right. I mean, and to me, humor should be no bounds.
No.
No matter what. Like nothing should be off the table. You can joke about fucking anything.
Yes. And that's what the difference is between someone that understands what a joke is and other people that there's like a weird gray area where it's like, no, motherfucker, there's no gray area. It's a joke.
Yeah.
The most outlandish and insane thing ever is usually the most humorous thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it's, you know, I'm just not, I'm not buying into this whole, you know, oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lump up Tenacious D with the other liberals that I'm seeing tweeting things.
No, definitely not.
Mr. Stulu's getting on my nerves. Fucking John Cusack's getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Kinda, right?
Those both sound like.
And I'm not even a Trump supporter, dude.
Me neither.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I'm not even a Trump supporter, and I'm just like, man, you know, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man.
It's so annoying.
I'm just
everybody's a fucking expert.
Oh
like,
yeah, now everybody's a rifle. You know, they know how bullets, you know, the trajectory expert and how slope roof experts and.
Oh my God, the slope roof business. What the fuck, man?
The whole thing is just a shit show gone frickin'. You can't make it up.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says. Like, you cannot debunk like theories, and I'm talking about the mainstream media. They can't go on TV 24 hours later and debunk all the theories going around. Like, everyone's asking questions because clearly there are fucking many questions that could be asked about that.
There are many questions.
Like, holy shit, that should never have happened, one. But, like, when you look at the video of, like, him climbing the ladder, these people are talking to the cops about the fucking dude climbing the ladder 2 minutes before he takes a shot. Then, like, what, 30 minutes before that, you have footage of people watching him with their cameras with a rangefinder walking around by himself. Like, this should not have happened.
Damn.
And, like, I am, like, strictly independent. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Biden fan. Don't want to see anybody get their head blown off. Although, if one dropped dead, I probably wouldn't really be that upset about it. But, yeah.
I just feel you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want about it.
You should be able to,
That's
man.
it.
Yeah.
You should be. Everybody's got the voice.
But, I mean, and when you see everything that's going on, because, you know, we're living in the age of, like, instant knowledge, you know, like we were talking about earlier. Like, you see everything that happened there because there's a bunch of people there with cameras documenting everything.
Literally, the most camera that camera technology is at its never been better.
Yeah.
As far as being able to capture, there are 100,000. There are a million pictures. There are 10 million pictures of Karen Reed.
Yeah, man.
10 million pictures. There have to be.
Yeah.
Because all people just click.
Yeah.
She gets pictures all day long. You know, there's just take just that.
Yeah.
Then you take people at a Trump rally who are collecting this is their life's thing. You know, they're like, we're going to see Trump.
Yeah.
And they bring their big ass cameras, you know, and they can get some real shots. You know what I mean? And
there's background, like people posing and taking selfies together, and there's background to review
Yes.
on
Yes.
anybody. Like if they didn't catch the guy, that's what would be going on right now.
no question.
Absolutely.
And that would be the best way, just to piggyback off of your point, Chris,
Yep.
is that would be the most effective way of catching them.
Good call.
Because there's so many cameras.
Yeah, there's
because so many pictures were being taken at that time. Like I would be like, if you have any footage that looks suspicious, please turn it.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody that's been to a concert or anything, like, I hate it. Everybody's got their phone
you
up,
got
and they're
100
recording
angles.
all things at all times. So if they're focused on Trump, but whatever, all it takes is somebody to hear a sound and point their phone that way. They've got tons of footage we're never going to see.
Right.
They've got, probably everybody there was recording something in some way.
Absolutely.
And we'll never see all that because we don't have time to go through it. But, first of all, the deals have to get cut,
Right.
to distribute the videos to the big, networks. And then once that's done, maybe we'll start to see some new footage. But they already have it.
Yeah.
They've got like these incredible cameras. They pretty much know exactly what happened in my limited surmise of, what I think of this happening.
Oh, they got it. They
Somehow-
fucking know.
There's no other way to look at it except like, how did they let it happen?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Exactly.
take everything that we know about it. It's like, how did they let it happen?
Well, dude, you mentioned
The world is a stage.
You meant, yeah, it is. It is. And you mentioned the slope roof earlier.
sorry,
Yeah, you mentioned the slope roof earlier, Chris, and that was a big thing that like the director of the fucking Secret Service came out and said we didn't have snipers on that particular roof because it was too sloped. But then you look at the roof that the snipers were on that took out the assassin, and it couldn't be more sloped.
Right.
Right.
It was like what? Like yeah, man.
But again, like even if that weren't the case, I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Neither do I.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, we didn't have a sniper on there because it was too sloped.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't too sloped for the guy who took a shot
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
Trump and nicked his ear.
Yeah,
was
good,
it?
Good
Yeah.
call. Well
You know
put.
what I mean? Like, come on.
Someone died there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, it's
and
not
fucking
it's not.
Right.
I'm surprised more people didn't die. The guy got off 8
Corey-
shots or something,
Yeah, man.
right?
Yes,
I can never
8
pronounce
shots.
his last
8
name.
shots.
Corey Commentatori?
Yeah,
Something like
it's
that.
something wicked
I
I never
Italian.
pronounced it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrible though. I mean, I saw pictures of him and his kids, and he was a firefighter, and
Right.
now he's gone. He was protecting his family. Like, it's fucking
Yeah.
brutal, man.
Is this the appropriate forum to release my Secret Service protection
Yes.
bat wing outfit that I think they should all be wearing?
Yes.
To
This is
protect
the
the president
form.
with Kevlar, and they can just go like this. That attaches
Right.
under the arm. It turns into like a big bat wing.
Oh, they have to have that.
Why don't they have it already?
Instead, they have this dingy-looking broad running around that can't holster her fucking gun.
Because Wayne Enterprises doesn't fucking supply their armory.
Facts. Facts.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Lucius Fox
I
isn't
just,
there.
I just gave away my
no, I
defense
know all this.
contract idea.
Oh, they have cloaking stuff. They have.
I know. Well, where the hell was it?
You're
I'd
right.
like to see.
You're right.
I'd like to see a Men in Black outfit
That'd be
that
amazing.
the arms attached to the knees, when necessary, and
That's
you
brilliant.
just freaking cover the guy.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That makes
Because
sense.
to effectively stop the bullets, it'd have to be
Kevlar.
really heavy.
Not that heavy. I mean, they're just
AR-15
standing.
rounds, so they're not
100
that heavy.
150
they're fast.
yards, they're fast,
as
they're
fuck.
fast.
Yeah, very fast.
I mean, we may be talking generalities here.
Sure.
You're probably right, but it would be better than just holding your arms up like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Let
Any-
me get my
any-
Ready
shoe.
I don't know.
Dude, did you see the BlackRock commercial that the shooter was in 2 years ago?
Craziness.
He was in a fucking BlackRock commercial. It's kind of weird.
World's a stage.
More will be revealed about this whole thing. We're going to find out a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Unfortunately, again, it's.
You only saw it because you were meant to see it.
That's a.
It was a production for you.
What if, man, because he was an actor in a commercial, that they went and they found the most nobody actor that they could to
Yes.
pose as the sniper.
Yes.
When somebody actually took a shot from a different location.
Children go missing.
There's that. There is
millions
people
of,
talking multiple shooters now.
Millions of people, millions of kids go missing all over the world every year, and you can't tell me the rich ones are like grooming some to be.
Did
like,
anybody check the
nameless
grassy
soldiers.
knoll?
Yeah, there's definitely a trafficking issue going
There's
on.
lots of theories going on here, but
Yeah, man, it's fucking, it's just batshit crazy. What happened the other day was just insane. Yeah, and he tilted.
Yeah.
He's.
I mean, and that's it. Like he's gonna win. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like this is over.
Yeah.
Obama's
it's-
even saying.
yeah.
Obama was even quoted, I think, in saying that Joe Biden's chances of winning have greatly diminished.
yeah, yeah,
Almost verbatim is what he said.
yep. It's a tough watch.
What has Trump said about Gaza?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Exactly.
Well, I know
As
that.
soon as he gets in, he's gonna take all Israel's money again.
Yeah, he did a lot for Israel.
Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be the same boat.
Probably.
Genocide. There's a genocide going over there.
A lot of Zionism.
Yeah.
A lot of Zionism in the family. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So fucking let's talk about saviors, right?
Why? Do we have to?
Well, Ivanka Trump posted this picture of a pride flag in a church. She was like, "Who wants to ban pride flags from churches?" And that's where I was just like,
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
banning anything from anywhere.
Yeah,
you
no,
know
who
what I mean?
cares?
Like,
Yeah.
Who
if that's
cares?
not for you, don't worship there.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, just
Yeah.
don't. You
Yep.
don't. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? That's between them and God.
Yeah.
Completely.
Why are you trying to control what God's judgment might be for them? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let God worry about that.
Yeah, it's not.
You think
for-
you think you're lightening the weight off of God's,
right,
you know, like
right.
workload? No, dude.
He's
That's
only
not how
got
God works,
300,000 other Americans he's got to worry about. 300 million, whatever. No,
Yeah, too many people like to stick their ideals into other people's religions and,
Kevin,
you know.
I don't believe in what you're saying.
Okay.
Just kidding.
wow.
All right.
No fighting, boys. No fighting. I'm kidding. So let's riff on Plevin for a couple minutes. What's he been up to? I have not been following that clown in a little while because I've refused to give him clicks.
Yeah, I haven't either, actually.
But can he still really be sitting there like running a theory?
I got bored watching, like, dumb shit.
I think that's what happened to everybody. That's why he's not like he's not getting even his hate views anymore.
I don't think so.
Because yeah,
Yeah, I think you're
so,
right.
Like everybody just kind of I got bored of him. you
Yeah,
know?
it's
I mean, he's not gonna. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he's not gonna change his spots.
No,
you know,
no.
Like, he's gonna say whatever just to try to be controversial. And he was winning when he had people's attention, but the problem is that that's only going to work so long before people get universally bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. Like that's it. It's not even funny anymore, Plevin. You're
It's
a
not.
joke.
It's
That's just overplayed.
Yeah.
You know, you're like a fucking Dane Cook CD, dude. Like, it's just,
Dane Cook.
it
Somebody put
was
something-
funny at the time for like
Right.
a minute,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then
Yep. Please.
now it just sucks.
Unnecessary.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. There's a guy. Jeez. Sometimes people just aren't funny. I never got Dane Cook. I didn't really understand like his thing.
I thought he was great at first.
I laughed.
Like,
I
and-
laughed my
and-
face off.
Maybe I just didn't.
you know?
I think I missed it, but you know.
I liked how physical he was. You know,
Yeah,
like I would
yeah.
see him do these really short performances on Comedy Central.
Okay.
When Comedy Central was like all comedy,
Yeah.
stand up. You know, it was really cool channel to have, and like
Yep.
really obscure documentaries. And then, but then he. Oh, sorry. what were we just talking about? Sorry, I got super distracted just now.
Dane Cook and how funny
oh,
he was
Dane
when
Cook.
that came
Dane
out.
Cook and how he likes like really young
Right.
girls.
See what I mean? How forgettable he is.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so yeah, like, and he was real physical, and he would like really put his physical well-being at risk on the stage
Yep.
to pull off some jokes. And then he had this one stand-up thing where he talked about Burger King and he talked about a couple other things, and then he blew up. And then when he blew up, he just became a like an Abercrombie douchebag
Right.
that I could never even begin to relate to. You know,
Yeah,
where
He
no-
got
no
like
real-
plas-
no
he
real
got-
material?
He got facial plastic
Yeah.
surgery, didn't he?
his diesel jeans and his Ed Hardy shirts and just talked about dating
Yeah.
and being sensitive to women's needs, and it was really like sad to watch.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he lost me totally.
Yeah. He ended up in like a few of those movies. He made out with Jessica Alba in that movie.
Oh yeah.
That would have been a good movie to star in. But yeah, no, he was funny for a minute, like you said, and then it was whatever. There was way better comedy going on back then too, though. Like the Chappelle Show was in like its fucking.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Comedy Central series
And-
for sure.
Dave Attell was really great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was
he's
bad.
still
Oh.
great.
Yep.
He's still great. He just had a special come out. I think it's on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix.
I haven't watched
Like
it yet.
came out just the last few months. I can't remember when exactly, but I watched it. It was fucking great. I was like, "This is Dave Attell. This is hilarious."
Yeah.
Will you ever watch Kill Tony? Like Tony
No.
Hinchcliffe, his show. Oh, you gotta watch that. It's worth watching.
Okay.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
that like on?
It's on YouTube.
Comedy-
It's like the biggest like comedy podcast right now in the world, and it really is a fucking riot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kill Tony, you said?
Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe is like the host. The show is called Kill Tony, and he's had like any comedian you've given a fuck
Kill
about.
Tony
in the-
kind of lame now.
In the past few years, like they've been on there, and they pull the names out of a bucket, and all these people in the crowd, like whether they've done comedy or not, if their name gets pulled, they come up there and they have to do a minute of comedy, and they have a panel of judges, and they're all comedians, and they roast like the people that just come up and don't know how to do comedy at all. Dude, it's
Right.
it's a fucking riot. Man.
That sounds funny.
Wow.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds like a
I
creative idea.
I just subscribed.
Yeah,
Nice,
nice. Yeah,
nice.
if you're looking for like good new comedians, that's the show, man.
Right on.
A lot of bad ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad ones too, but that's what makes the show hilarious because they just go in on these bad fucking comedians, and it's a riot, dude.
It's a creative idea. It's a
Yeah.
creative idea.
Nice.
Yeah, and it works.
Nice.
It works really well. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I always want to circle back to Karen Reed with you, man. Because I mean,
Yeah, man.
Why wouldn't we?
Right.
And
So Proctor is out.
yes, yeah.
Relieved of
Yeah.
duty is what I saw.
They took
correct?
his badge and gun, right?
Good.
But
Yeah.
Isn't there still an investigation into him? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
I would think. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't end there. You know.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, it's not just. I mean, if it's IA, it means that they committed a crime. It's not just misconduct.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but the thing is I just don't trust the Massachusetts State Police to do anything.
No.
I think that the only reason they went this far is because of all of the backlash about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the governor saying something about it didn't even phase
I know. I know.
the MSP, you know, which is really weird.
No.
But I think finally they did. Yeah, I'm just glad that you know, I think a lot of it is just for appearances, because the thing is again, I feel as though I've said this a bunch of times. Proctor's got to be the fall guy. He's the one falling on his sword.
Yep.
Because you know, in order to properly investigate, you have to investigate Tully as well. Like if you're really, if they first of all,
Yep.
in the statement released by whoever the spokesperson was for the MSP who released that statement, they said that it had nothing to do with anything except the text messages, right, where he was insulting Karen Reed the way that he was.
Which is retarded to think.
Right. And it had nothing to do with the investigation itself, right?
Right.
And the reason for that, I believe, is because
Yeah.
if they did, then they'd have to question Tully as well.
Right.
And I promise you that if Michael Morrissey is under federal investigation right now, so is Brian Tully.
No
So
question.
is Lieutenant Tully.
No question.
So they're trying to distance themselves from they're trying to distance Michael Proctor.
Yeah.
Not from the MSP.
Right.
They're trying to distance Michael Proctor from Michael Morrissey's office.
Right.
That's the action
Position,
here,
right? Yeah.
I believe. Right.
Yeah. Chess game.
It's
Yeah,
all
but
in how you look at it.
that makes sense.
You on paper, yeah, he's out of the Massachusetts State Police. On paper, he's separating from the Massachusetts State Police, but in reality, what he's really doing is separating from Michael Morrissey's office.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
Anyway.
But they're going to end up saying they got rid of him, and I think it can only weigh.
Right.
I think it can only weigh favorably in the Karen Reed second trial.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the lead investigator is now been fired. That's all they have to say. Was Michael Proctor, the leading investigator, fired after this? With regard to the last case? Yeah, he was? Okay, you.
Yeah.
I rest your case closed, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's reasonable doubt enough. There's, dude, like I was saying a while ago, like there's just a mountain of reasonable doubt in the case that it can't be climbed without corruption, and the corruption
it's nothing but reasonable doubt.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
all reasonable doubt.
Absolutely. And the corruption is so fucking brazen, and it's in your face.
Right.
And I think like the anti-Karen Reed crowd, like they're really all experiencing like cognitive dissonance on like a mass scale, because they really just can't come to terms with like what they're seeing, and they don't believe it. They just don't believe what they're seeing, and it's crazy.
Like you were saying about the people
I
from New
can't
England, being this tight-knit community, but none of them knew each other before this Karen Reed case thing. Probably 5 of them maybe from Canton, but as far as people that are now tied to the quote-unquote pink people or whatever, the hundreds of people that stand out by the courthouse every day, none of them know each other.
Yeah.
They're all independent people that don't like bullshit getting thrown in their face.
Right.
So they
don't like being treated like they're idiots.
Right.
Yeah. But
So
if you listen to like Kate Peters and that other side, you would think that like the Karen Reed crowd is fucking violent and crazy, and dude, it's like one of the it's like the biggest peaceful protest you've ever seen.
truth. The only bigger peaceful protest was the one that is not happening right now because of the assassination attempt. That's the only bigger.
Sure. Yeah.
not Peaceful. I'm kidding. No, there's no violence. There's the Karen Reed supporters are nothing but honest people that are just going out there and speaking their mind. I will say that before the buffer zone thing, they were taunting. They were
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
there was no holds barred with anybody walking in that was associated with the opposition.
Well, it was
Using their
still
voice.
it was still fresh.
yes,
You know?
yeah,
And
absolutely.
so if the whole thing is as infuriating as it is at its freshest stage,
No question.
you're going to expect some people to behave unfavorably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would imagine so.
And
But
then,
still nonviolent.
It's not necessarily an excuse, but at the same time, it's like it could have been a lot worse.
it could have been a lot
Absolutely.
worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it did feel like there were moments there where you were certainly with Grant. I was when Grant and Tom, when Tom fell down or Grant pushed Tom. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
I was standing right there. I was from me to you, and Tom fell right in front of me. And he, there's a big granite, pointy, huge granite cinder walkway next to that. That's probably 2 feet off the ground. And man, his head was like this close to hitting that.
Christ,
and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, see how right? I didn't know Tom. I knew that he.
Well,
I
he's
knew,
he's like a petite dude too.
He's
like
small.
that
He's
would
a
have
small
fucked.
dude,
That would
yeah.
have fucked
I
him up.
knew who he was. I had not been introduced to him, but I'd seen him several times at some of the things. And when that whole thing happened right in front of me, I got home and I started looking at people posting things on there, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Like, he freaking knocked him over. And this was the same day that Grant was, like, licking his hand, if anybody ever saw that
I
footage
saw that,
of
yeah.
him, like, licking the back of his hand.
Yeah.
You know, that's the other thing. I saw that woman taping that. Like, this all happened, like, within 30 seconds of each other. So she's taping Grant doing that, and I was standing behind her watching it on her phone. And I'm going, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. And they're all chanting, you know, and when the McAlberts came out, man, they just let them have it. They were not, you know, and
Hey, I've got to
really
step
was
away
fine.
for just a
Yeah, yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I could still hear you guys.
No
Just
problem.
Give me 1 second.
I'll just continue on with that.
Well, Chris, I gotta ask you: was
Yeah.
there any context to like Grant making out with his hand, or was that as just fucked up and
I
random
think
as
he
it
was
was?
just doing it
He's just making out with his hand.
I think so that he did several things. He turned around a couple of times and flipped the crowd off.
Yeah,
and
I
he
saw
was like,
pictures of
"Fuck
that.
you," and you know, he was just he was antagonistic to everybody. And there was another thing that happened on Tom's feed where Karen got into the car and him and Tom got into it for a second about one of Karen's medical procedures or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
It was horrifying. I was like, man, you motherfucker, shut the camera off. You
Wow.
fucking shouldn't be talking like that. And whatever. It was
Disgusting.
disgusting. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm fucking all set with these people. Because Grant was sort of like at the forefront of that whole thing. He put himself in front of Tom.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what he was doing. He was trying to get the the attention or whatever. And when he was licking his hand and doing all that stuff, there was 25 people there.
What the
gathered
fuck?
around him, and he was just in the front, right next to all the cameras. Like, there was a whole group of people. He was just in the middle of it.
Wow.
They came down the stairs, and they went around the corner, and the Tom thing literally happened right in front of me. And it looked like he pushed him down.
Wow.
And it was like, dude, he's an old man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Grant's an asshole. But the hand licking thing, supposedly Grant is on the spectrum.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad you're saying this.
So I think that the hand
I'm
licking
fine
thing
with that.
it's a tick.
yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is like, you know, treating people like shit is not a tick.
It's not
Correct.
That just
yeah.
means you're a dick.
Yeah,
Right,
man.
You know what I mean? Like
Dude, I wanted to punch.
what he did to Jess Machado is not okay.
No,
No.
that was fucked up.
everything else that he did that day was equally, you know, like, I was telling them, he was flipping everybody off. I'm sure you've seen the videos of just his just ridiculous behavior. And he was omnipresent. No matter where I looked, he was. You know, he was just walking around. He's over there. He's over there. He's talking to that person.
It's a part of his tick.
You know,
he just fucking transports.
But he had no time for anybody. It was the Grant show. It was all about like what he was doing, and you know, he didn't really talk to any people, and he certainly got harassed.
Well, dude, I like anything I saw, I'm like, wow, that guy is so fucking punchable. And then when he was making out with his hand, I'm like, oh, he's retarded. Okay, never mind. I don't want to punch him anymore.
Yeah, no, I never wanted the violence on him, but like he.
But I gotta say, I've never wanted to punch someone that was retarded so bad, because then he went on to do other stupid shit.
right. His behavior was really just, you know,
Unacceptable.
deplorable. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a bad look for the court. You know, the guy gets to go in there and, you know, whatever he does.
It's a privilege to like be able to go in there.
Be able to go in there.
Be a
and,
journalist.
Did
yeah.
you hear his computer?
He
Was he there when you were
absolutely
there?
had an air of entitlement.
Was he
Yeah.
there when you were there? He was not in the courtroom when you were there, right? Will? Yeah, so he had been ejected by that point.
Yeah.
But like the couple of the motions that I went to in the bigger courtroom, all you could hear was like him tapping on his computer. He was tapping so loud. It was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, calm down over there. Like, the whole place could hear it. It was...
See, the thing is like, if he's going to be a dick, you know, like, and he's going to assault people,
Right.
like, you don't get to use autism as an excuse.
No,
because
no.
if you're assaulting people, then you need to have somebody care for you so
Right.
that you don't.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not responsible for your own actions and yet that affects other people, then you need to be cared for.
Yeah. Man.
So I don't want to hear that he's autistic and that's an excuse for what he did to Jess Machado. That's
Agreed.
not.
Agreed.
I don't
It's
want to
not.
hear that shit.
Well, dude, like, just to be clear, I only call him retarded because because he's a dick and he does dickhead shit. You know?
Yeah, I use the word retarded to describe the willfully ignorant.
Exactly.
You know,
like if it's your fault, I feel perfectly comfortable calling you a retard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
totally.
I think that the word has taken on a connotation that, like I've got friends from Germany, and the first time I came here, I was 15 minutes late. And they were like, "Where have you been?" They were all sitting around the table waiting for me. I'm like, "It's America. Like everything's late here. We're all 15." I said, "I'll be there at 11-ish," They were pissed. And they said, your time is retarded. And I said, "You can't say that here, you guys. You can't say like." I ended up getting to another appointment down the road earlier, and I wrote retardedly early for this. And I just posted it on my page, and I got freaking attacked because I used the word retardedly early, and it was like, no, I've turned the clock back. You ever retard your timing on a car? You turn it back. You turn the timing back. That's what you do.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing when I hear people go, "Oh my god!" And then he used the R word.
Right.
Like what word? Retarded?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
It's a word. Like
It's a
to
word.
me, it's a perfectly good fucking insult that now you can't use.
Absolutely.
When I would never use it to describe somebody with some sort of intellectual deficiency that they have no control over, but
Correct.
somebody who is
Right.
a willfully ignorant piece of shit,
Yes.
like Plevin.
Yes.
Plevin's a fucking retard. I have no
Yes.
problem calling
Yes.
him a fucking retard.
And the word by definition fits because he is slower than the freaking. He can't keep up. He's like.
Well,
he's
what does
willf-
retarded mean? Just not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
Yeah.
well,
You're an
it
idiot.
means-
To me, it means you're an idiot.
right.
in the automotive world, it means before time. So top dead center is right in the middle. Retarded timing would be 4 degrees, 5 degrees before top dead center.
Yeah, it's like
they said in,
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei, yeah. That's what it is. You retard the timing. So like, for me, it's not. I never thought of the word as being like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
I can't say this anymore."
Yeah.
Until I said I'm retardedly early and it got barbecued.
Yeah. Well, it's like calling your friend a faggot. Like you're calling, whether he's gay or not, you're not calling him a faggot
You
because he's
can't do-
gay.
you can't do that.
You're calling him a pussy.
Right. We're from a different world, though.
Yeah, we
Like,
are, we
that's
are.
the thing. Like, the
Yeah.
kids these days, they don't understand. We had Sam Kennison, Andrew Dice Clay. These were like our mentors. Eddie Murphy, and Richard Pryor. All of them.
yeah.
There was no holds barred. Red Fox. There was no holds barred with
Yeah.
those comedians. And
Yeah.
we thought that was the way life was because you didn't have access to everything. You didn't have therapy. What?
And they were a fucking, they
You know?
were a riot.
I don't hate anybody. You know what I'm
Same.
saying?
Right,
Say
exactly. Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
hate anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember, like I don't think I've ever called somebody a faggot out of anger.
Right.
Anger.
Ever.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think I've
Yes.
ever been angry and been like, "You faggot."
No.
You know, I don't
Nope.
think I've ever done that. I
Nope.
think like it's
Yeah.
just been
Because
between me and my homies and
Right.
Yeah.
you quit being such a faggot, dude. Like,
When-
stop.
Yeah.
When-
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So in our little South Shore community down here in south of Boston,
We're all faggots and retards. Okay, maybe. not.
that wasn't my experience, but we did not have a large gay culture here on the South Shore, especially when I grew up.
I had a lot of gay friends growing
They
up.
are now. They've it's changed a lot, but I'm talking like
So did I.
Yeah.
70s and 80s. There just wasn't a whole lot of them in my community that we were exposed to. So
Yeah,
we
sure,
really
sure.
didn't know very much about them. So when we said fag, we were just calling somebody, a pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Right.
they were gay. It wasn't until I started working in the
The
city.
only people that I heard use it as referring to a gay person was a gay person.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
When I was
Yeah.
like, I grew up in Miami, so I mean,
Yeah, yes.
like,
So that's different
So,
exposure than the
and
South Shore.
I had one gay guy explain to me the difference between a femme fag and a butch fag. That
Right.
came from a gay guy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't make that shit up out of
Right.
like, sitting in some meeting hating on gay people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't.
No,
I
that's
have
the
no
thing.
Right.
feelings about homosexuality one way or the other. I honestly don't.
Dude, nobody
I
gave
have
a
no
fuck.
feelings about it.
Yeah.
I don't either. I'm just saying that we didn't have the knowledge that we have now
Yeah.
about it. The exposure that the community is getting, or whatever. It just did not exist. I had never, my dad didn't, it was an odd time. He was Archie Bunker, okay? Like he had no shortage of gay jokes, and it was like, okay, all right, well, I guess that's, we never saw gay people.
It's a generation.
We never saw them, so it wasn't like I was ever exposed to anything until I was in my 20s, and I was like, wow, there's like a lot of gay people in the world.
Yeah.
I don't hate any of them.
Right.
There was no like, there was, I don't know why anybody would.
Who cares?
would lash out.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. But.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate on someone because they prefer sweet relish over dill relish.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it's the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
As far as I know it's not.
Right.
But I'm saying, to me, as far as my perspective goes, it's as much of a give a shit as much as I give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what you put in your mouth.
I got other things to think about. I got other shit going on. My freaking boat motor won't run right.
Yeah,
I gotta get that shit fixed.
Right.
I don't have to worry about.
Why would I worry about whatever the fuck you're doing with your life and whatever you're doing with your free time and whatever you prefer to do? Like, do I give a shit how you lay your silverware next to your plate? No, I don't. I don't give a shit about anything that you do that doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So,
but I will say,
I wish you the best.
I will say this one thing though, because you do not want to. My old boss, who was a chef, somebody brought in to a whole bunch of pastries to work, and he wouldn't eat them. And everybody was like, "Dude, what's up?" And he's like, "Never eat anything if you haven't seen the kitchen first." And I was like, "Dude, that is the most uninclusive thing you could possibly say. Have a piece of cake, bro. Like, how bad can this be?" And it was like, "You're hating on the cake. What's going on with you?" I didn't understand it, but he was talking about from a health perspective. He's like, you don't know how people live.
I want to see your bathroom first.
We only work together. Did he wash his hands when he made the cake? That's what he was saying. It was like, bro, maybe you're overthinking it.
I think he might have had a really bad experience.
I think he did. I think he did.
Man,
some people don't give a shit. They're just like, it's cake.
Yeah.
I prefer not to think about its origin.
You can generally tell somebody by okay, would you eat Kate Peters' cake? If she handed you some cupcakes, if she was walking around,
that's a good point.
No,
She might have poison.
That's what I'm
in
talking
it.
about right there. So, like, if you didn't know her, you didn't know her past.
Well,
if
you don't even know.
She's
he doesn't
walking
even
around.
mean it in the sense that she might poison it. He means it like, look at her fucking greasy ass hair. Imagine if that shit gets in the batter.
Yeah. Would you eat something that she made? Dude. No, hell no.
That's true.
No,
so
you're right. I wouldn't.
You have to think about that sort of side of it. Like, you just can't take every single thing for granted.
I don't think I'm gonna eat cake again.
No hair pie for Kev.
But I don't know. I never thought of that analogy until he brought it up.
Yeah, that's insightful. It's good. It's a good one. Fucking A, man.
He never called in sick to work with a stomach problem. I know that much.
Jeez, I'm just thinking of Kate Peters handing me cake.
I know. I'm
God.
trying not to think. I've seen her twice in person, and she is as heinous as you could imagine. That's no lie. Like this. I'm sorry.
Very frumpy looking.
She's frumpy looking. She looks like a troll. She looks like a freaking troll.
Like she has every reason to hate life.
Yes.
She was just created a certain way, and then she's just like, man, I really got handed the shit end of the stick in life.
Well,
so I'm just gonna stick it to everybody.
I'm riding it all the way.
Yeah.
And she is definitely doing that.
Right.
Dude, after the verdict was read, Kelly and I, my fiance, were walking by the bar near Dedham House of Pizza, and she was sitting at the bar by herself, and I'm like, oh, that's Kate Peters. And Kelly was like, who's that? I'm like,
Yeah, don't bother.
Don't worry.
Right.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Chris?
I would just, I wouldn't. She's everything they say. And I never heard her talk. I just saw her, She's like everything. I don't know. That's something you would just not. We had talked a little bit last time about you can sort of identify who the crazy women are relatively quickly, especially if you're interested in them in some other way besides are they just crazy. But she's a person that you can look at like in a lineup and go, I do not want to be in line at McDonald's behind her. I don't want to be at the gas station with her. I don't want to be anywhere in that person's proximity because there's going to be crazy ass drama attached to it.
Right.
That's about all I can say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she's one of those people, it seems like, some people just thrive, like they can't function without having turmoil and discourse with people.
Yeah.
Like they just can't function without that.
Those
It's
are people
crazy.
that
There's
watch
always
murder.
a few.
Those are people that watch murder documentaries all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's always a feud with one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody to be at war with.
Dude, she's at war with like a whole movement. She's like obsessed with Turtle Boy. Like, and
Yeah.
the stuff she chooses to post about, it's like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, what are you doing?
There's no life there.
No.
Her life, she's another person who has thrown herself into the Karen Reed case and made it, like her, omerta or whatever the hell they call it, where she's,
I mean,
What if she's backed by BlackRock?
Do they think that, like, people like her, do they think it gives them some sort of validity in life, like some sort of status? Like, no. What it looks
think,
like is that you're a miserable twat.
Yeah.
Who can't
Yep.
fucking, who can't do anything except have wars with people with your phone in a fucking social media thread.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pathetic, dude.
It's bad, and she goes out of her way to do it, to insert herself into it.
She goes out of her way to
Right.
like break restraining orders.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck?
All of a sudden, there she is driving down the road
Oh,
outside
one
of
of
Turtle Boy's
those.
thing. It's
With
like,
a middle finger, like, just like not giving a fuck.
yep,
No.
yep.
Violating a protective order with her whole chest, dude.
Did you meet?
Like,
Did you
no,
meet Lauren?
I don't know
Did you meet
anyone
Lauren
like
Murray
that.
when you were here? Lauren Murray, she's also one of the people that Krusty went after. She did Turtle Boy's.
I might have. I'm really bad with the names.
Yeah,
but
no, wonderful young lady. But she also has a restraining order against Krusty because of Lauren's involvement with Turtle Boy. He's talked about it last week on the show, so it's not like it's a hidden thing. But Lauren,
yeah, that's the person she was flipping off.
yeah,
Yes.
Lauren's the sweetest,
the video,
sweetest
right.
person.
Told
You
her to
know,
go kill herself.
Yeah, I've been at several events where Lauren has been there, and again, you got a vibe off of people. She's a sweetheart. She's like seems like just a genuine person. No, I didn't hang out with her for any length of time, but I can tell when you go home, you're probably not a serial killer. You're probably
Brian's question.
Brian might not be a serial killer,
He
but I
might
don't
be.
hang out with him that often. But like
I don't think so, man. Yeah, Brian, like, he seems like he's just enjoying eating that
His
food.
bag
yeah,
of chips.
yeah, he's got some
This is my dinner.
spicy chipotle
Like,
lime.
Me
chips
personally,
over
I
there.
could never be a serial killer because there's just too much work involved.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work,
yeah,
yep,
you got to cover those
Like,
tracks.
dude. And then you just got to keep that secret. That's a lot of
Yeah.
work in and of itself.
Yep.
Is just keeping that secret,
Yep,
not slipping in any way, shape. That's fuck all
Listen,
that.
got to buy the right
If you do
steak.
it out, if you do it out in the open, no one's gonna fuck with you.
This guy.
I don't think
Listen,
Brian
listen.
means
I'm just kidding. I don't condone violence at all.
No, but you're right. There's so much cleanup to do in that type of a thing. Certainly keeping your reputation clean. Or
Well, just look at the stuff they look at a trial.
Yeah.
When you watch a trial, just look at the stuff.
well,
I mean-
any other trial.
Yeah. Any,
Right.
any other.
Yeah.
But in theory, even the
Right.
stuff they claim to do
Yeah.
is still, like blood evidence, there's DNA, there's phone records, there's, pings from your phone
Yeah,
where
they
you're
got you.
located.
They got you.
Fucking
You're done.
security, traffic cams, you have, that's like, that's too much.
It's too
you know?
much, which is again,
It is.
it's one of the reasons why this particular case is like, I know they're trying to scare us with how much they have out there. They want to keep
Yeah.
the people of Boston in line.
Patriot
They
Act,
they
dude.
want you to know that there's a camera on every corner, and if you fuck
yeah.
around, we're going to catch you. They want you to know that. They broadcast it, and if you look around at every stop sign, even in my little town, there's a freaking camera on the one light in the center of town.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so they're watching all that. They want you to know. When the Boston bombing happened, they tripled it. They tripled the surveillance. So now you really, really, really can't
Right.
get away with
I
anything.
would imagine so.
So
They relied on surveillance footage and people with their phones to catch the guys and
Totally.
identify them.
totally, and that
You
was a
know?
long time
Think
ago
about
now. Like
Yeah.
from a technology perspective, all of the businesses around there went out and bought the good cameras. You know, so now
Right.
everybody's got a much
You
better
gotta
camera
protect
than
your
they had
home.
back then. And
Motion
you know, so
censored.
they're trying. They want the public to know that you're being watched. You know, they're gonna.
Some people
find you.
invited into their home with Alexas and all the stuff
Totally.
that is connected
Well,
online.
and
like,
if that's the case, then it makes it even more suspicious that there wasn't more video footage captured of, January 29th, 2022.
Agree.
You know?
Agree.
Yep.
They've got her at every. They've got that tow truck
Oh,
with her
Right.
car on the back of it at every stoplight.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you guys. We know you have it.
Yeah.
That's a state
Bizarre,
controlled.
man.
Those are state controlled cameras. The amount of
they went out that night.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
They went out.
Every
They just
intersection-
stopped
every
working.
intersection they went out.
Yeah, it's like when Epstein hung himself. Nothing worked. Gods were sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip, man.
I'm just saying.
Solar
I'm just
flare.
saying. They part of how they want to. They want to reduce crime by having the Big Brother aspect of it. I guarantee you that there are people that don't think about robbing banks anymore because they know they're going to get caught.
Yeah, I gave up on that.
Of course,
Right.
you're still going to find people that do it, just like you find people that have kiddie porn on their fucking shit. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
that's how they catch them all. Have you ever seen one show of how they catch these guys? They do it how you're fucking doing it.
Dude,
Like-
that shit gets on your computer, dude, in any way, shape, or form,
fucked.
dude. Like,
They'll-
that's such
they'll
a
put it
fucking
on.
nightmare to even.
They'll plant it on you.
Yeah, they'll plant
Well,
it
they
on
plant.
your
That's the
fucking
thing. If they plant it, that's another thing.
Remember,
Yeah.
sprinkle a little crack on them.
Jesus.
But think about it. Like they really they got you by the cojones.
Yeah.
In the big picture.
Dude, I've thought about a lot of that as it relates to this case because
Yeah.
that's true, man. That's a really good point.
But if
does.
it implicates the enforcers of the upper class, we'll say it.
But it's just like,
can't compromise
well,
that.
Go on.
but I mean, they're not. Look at what the MSP did in Karen Reed's case. It's not like they executed a good cover up.
no.
Completely.
You know?
Yes.
Like,
Right.
I
The
guess
worst.
You know,
worst.
like we're sitting here having this hypothetical conversation, but we're giving them way too much credit.
I think
Yeah.
Considering what we
true.
know.
I think you're right.
Now, of course, you don't want to underestimate them, but at the same time, it's just like, look at how sloppy this cover up was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's making everybody so crazy is the fact that they're so fucking brazen about
Right.
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as if we can't see how fucking obvious this is.
Yeah.
That's a
you
lot
know?
of things.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things. I mean, this freaking
In
I
my
can't
lifetime.
get over the leaf blower. Seeing the guy out there with the leaf blower, I'm like, okay, where's the big red piece of taillight that they found 5 hours later? Where is that? I don't see it in this video footage.
Right.
It's like you would think they'd have that put together, but they don't. Like somehow they didn't see that the police fucking planted that shit there.
No.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
This whole case is crazy.
And they're just going to throw it out. Well, I only read one article that said that, so don't hold me to that.
No, it's probably going to trial, but it would be cool if it got thrown out.
I mean, they just don't have anything. Like we
got-
already
No.
saw the best of the prosecution. Like what was
Yeah.
interesting about
exactly.
the live stream I was doing with Turtle Boy yesterday was he was talking about he was going over that group
Yeah.
and he was like, look, some of them they believe Karen Reed is guilty, but like they're asking all the right questions. Like they
Yes.
think that we don't want this, but
Right.
they're like, yes, absolutely. We want to know where Chloe is.
Yeah.
Produce Chloe.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Give it to us. Give it
We
to us.
want, yeah, like, you know,
We
please,
want the truth.
all-
We want the truth. There is nobody that's wearing a pink shirt that does not want the truth. And I
yeah.
guarantee you, if they have footage of Karen running him over, every single person will be like, well, I guess she did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Right.
they don't have it.
They don't have
They don't
it.
have
and
it.
it'll and would still demand justice for Officer John O'Keefe.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lock her up if that's the case. You got the footage?
She
Lock
did
her
it?
up.
Totally.
Show me. Show
Totally.
me. You got guy across the street. Higgins, come on, out with it, bro. Out with it.
Yeah.
Talk, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just
I waited that whole goddamn trial for Lally to put something out there
Something.
that even resembled proof.
something.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Nope.
You know, and I didn't want him to. I wanted to believe that Karen Reed was innocent,
Of course.
considering
Right.
because I had a real problem. I had to also face the idea, like, okay, well, let's say she did do it.
Yeah.
Should she go free, considering that her rights were clearly violated in this investigation?
Right. Right.
Should she?
Yeah.
And I had to struggle with that.
I know.
And-
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, but like, we count on the justice system. That's on them.
Yeah.
If Karen Reed did do this, then she deserves her freedom for the fact that they played a rigged game
Yeah.
to catch her.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No
know?
question. No question.
And we can't live in a society like that under an umbrella of that type of justice system.
Yeah.
That's not justice.
So
Agreed.
here's a question for the legal eagles: Can they? So now that we've got trial number 1 down, is there another discovery? Like, can we go to Coco Albert and go, "Where's the fucking phone number for Chloe's, the woman you in Vermont you gave her to? Give us the phone number. We're gonna call her."
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
And can we now?
Dude, only
is there
two
an-
people.
Is there another lever? Because if Chloe shows up, and Chloe bites something, and we get the bite, analysis,
Yeah.
and that clears it's not Chloe, it's a skunk,
Right.
it's a fucking bear,
Right.
It's whatever in Canton that ate him in the middle of the night, not Chloe.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. These are all the things.
the
These are all-
scenario we've all been banking on, which is Chloe went for the arm,
Yeah.
which is what we know happened.
Yeah.
Show me Chloe.
Yeah.
Give us Coco. Give us the fucking phone number. I'll call her right now.
Coco, give us the
It's
fucking
so-
dental
it's
records,
so
God damn it.
easy. Right. It's so easy for them to have even faked a Chloe.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yep.
could have faked a Chloe, but that goes to show how brazen they are.
Yeah.
Now, if they tried to do that now, we would be like, sorry, how do
Right.
we know that's Chloe?
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like, why didn't you do this
There are-
way before?
Exactly.
So there's no way that they had this dog for 7 years, and those 2 kids, 3 kids, however many kids are in the house, don't have any pictures of the dog. So I don't really think they could produce a fake Chloe because they would mine a picture from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
then they would have him by the balls.
I've never seen this dog. I've been following this case forever. I've never seen this
There's a couple
dog
of pictures.
fucking
She
look like-
actually doesn't really look like a hardcore German Shepherd. She
Right,
looks kind of
okay.
like Shepherd-ish, which is, it's, hey, I looked at it. I was like, she didn't look like she's going to rip somebody's face off.
Chloe's a bitch.
But all of them said she wasn't good with people. So, and she was Brian Albert's dog, so you got to believe that, she was a douchebag.
Right.
She was
I mean,
trained.
yeah,
in
she was
some way.
probably an asshole.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
If dogs
Probably.
take after their owners, then
Yes,
it's
no
not
question.
Surprising.
Yeah.
It's not surprising that Chloe would be an asshole.
I can't believe that motherfucker sat there with a Mr. Rogers fucking tie on and sweater and stared down that jury on the last day of fucking.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
How does that? So that has to come up, right? I mean, with that new plaintiff thing that was filled out by the juror saying that juror brought TB's name into it. How do you not bring fucking Brian Albert into it if you're going to talk about jury intimidation?
Right. Well, that's the thing is they filed this motion. So we'll probably never even hear that side.
Are there going to be new rules for this trial, though? Like, there has to be, now that we know what we've mined.
Judge Beverly Cannoni's not even assigned to the case anymore, as I understand it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the rumor anyway. I don't know how.
Okay.
I heard she's not going to be there at the
accurate-
next hearing, is what I heard.
All right.
Okay, I don't know, but I know that this is all her doing.
Yeah.
Like, she should have given those jurors an opportunity to specify. That's on her. That was nobody else's responsibility but hers, to make sure that the jury understood that there were 3 different counts and to specify which counts were what.
Yeah.
And she just didn't do that. So I don't know, man. Like,
I guarantee.
I don't know what to expect.
I've
never seen anything like this.
I'm thinking the thing that they got hung up on was she left, and the words "left the scene." And somebody fundamentally said, "Well, she left." I'm not going to go against that. She left. You can't change my mind. And everybody else is like, "Yeah, she left the scene, but she didn't hit anybody."
Right?
And the juror is like, "Well, she left
So
the scene."
You're holding her accountable for leaving him at a place that he asked to be dropped off.
Correct.
That can't be.
I
that
think
can't be right.
If I'm thinking, well, we're going to find out because one of these jurors is going to talk. So they eventually the information will come out about what the deliberations were about. Even if they impound the names for a while, one of them is going to get out. One of them is going to talk. They're cutting book deals right now. But
for sure.
But once that information comes out, then we'll sort of know why shit went the way that it did, and why we're getting hung up. And like you said to your point earlier, it's a cop who's hanging up the works for whatever reason. He was selected or maybe pushed in there.
I mean, if all that stuff is true,
right?
Yeah.
But like, I just don't see a cop being chosen as the foreman and not understand the concept of reasonable doubt.
Correct.
Makes no sense.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
that's a great point.
When you're doing jury selection, they probably went through 100 people. Who's to say they didn't send in 10 friends, somebody that was friendly to the cause?
Sure.
What do you know about the case? Nothing. I don't know nothing. But they knew, somebody from down the line. I don't know. Just spitballing here. And all of a sudden, that person gets, let's say, a third party from the McAlberts, somebody who's not a friend or a friend, but does know somebody, and all of a sudden they get a juror thing. And I don't know anything about this case.
Oh, dude, it's so possible. It's fucking possible. I mean, I take nothing off the table.
You get the right clerk behind the counter back there. Oh, send one to Steve McDonough. Click.
Yeah, dude,
He's a friendly click.
I thought at one point I wouldn't have been surprised had someone been in there that was automatically for Karen Reed being free from the start. Like, that wouldn't have surprised me either.
No,
like,
no.
All this shit is possible.
Well, it's gonna be really fucking hard to find a jury now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean,
who knows when? Like, what if Brian Albert or one of the cops were sitting on the stand and recognized that juror?
Right.
Which
is very possible.
And then somebody contacted him, or a loved one. Yeah. And I mean, who knows, man?
I never thought of that. That's possible.
Yeah, definitely. This is a giant who knows, this whole case.
Right. Oh, but they're not supposed to talk about the case when they go home and blah blah blah. Right. Listen, I got the same. I said this last time. I was on the trial. It was 10 days, and they said all the same things to us, and I honored it. I went home and I was like, I'm not talking about this case. I'll tell you. Nothing. I'm not. I didn't talk about it with my SO. I didn't have any outside conversation. I did what they wanted me to do, and I know they didn't fucking do that because you heard all of them saying things that the other one said.
Yeah.
You got Jen McCabe's husband, Matt McCabe. Just go through his fucking. Grab ass fucking bullshit. I wish I had. I wish I saw him. I wish I had seen him out there. They all said, I wish I had seen him out there. Yeah. It's like, you rehearsed motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Colin.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been watching this? No. I didn't watch anything.
Dude.
No. I didn't prep for it. Nobody asked me about the case. You fucking dumb fucks.
Yeah.
We all know.
Right.
We all know.
Did
y'all
anybody
talking
tell
about it.
you prior to this to say that you don't recall?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I just
Did
watched
you
that
ever-
voice analyst one the other day. I'm sure you've seen the guy.
Yeah.
Who does
yeah.
the voice analyzations or analysis or whatever.
Yeah, he's good.
He's really good.
He's
He's
interesting.
like, oh, here's where we established the baseline. Here's where they're lying. See, they're lying because they're adding. I never said that, and
Yeah.
it's like, yes, you did because you said never. you know, like
Right.
He completely dissects their
Oh, he
testimony.
crucified
Testimonies.
Colin. Like the one he did on Colin is really good. They all are.
yeah.
But that was fascinating to watch because Colin is just he's not the brightest fucking bulb in the tree. So he
No.
has tells that he can't fucking control.
Yeah.
Because he's just not.
There's nothing he could do. Like
Yeah.
it was clear he was lying.
Yeah.
It was clear.
Yep.
And then it doesn't help him that Turtle Boy ended up catching him on one of the biggest lies, which was that he'd never been in a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's video footage on at least 2 different occasions
Oh,
where
yeah.
he was fighting.
Yep. Yep.
It's like,
Crazy.
But Colin, you
like,
may
you
not
don't
know
think
how
Turtle Boy's gonna find that?
Yeah.
You don't think
Yeah.
Within
somebody's
hours.
gonna get that to him
Within hours.
Yeah.
And you know there's more. You know
Yeah.
there's more. That's just sort of what they're putting out there because now he's going to come back. He's going to be on the stand again. And again, new discovery.
and he's gonna care even less.
Yeah, right.
That's what's going to be interesting. Like, watch them; they're going to be already like over it,
Yeah,
and so they're going to care even less. And that's when somebody's bound to slip.
right.
It's because they're doing this again. I got to do this all over again. All right,
Right,
whatever.
right. Yeah,
And then you
fucking
sit
whatever.
there and slouch, and
Yeah,
and then all right, and then they're going to say something stupid, and Jackson or Unetti's going to get them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna be sharp as attack even still.
all right.
Yeah.
That's a good point, man. I didn't really think of it like that, but yeah.
I didn't either.
It's a good point, dude.
It's a long game to set up. I mean, maybe they knew this was going to happen in the
I
first
think
place.
they did. I think they did because I mean, what the defense originally they had way more witnesses than 4, but they only used those 4. Like the Commonwealth, I don't think they would game plan for I don't think they would game plan for a mistrial because their whole goal is just to convict her. They just want a guilty. Like they're not
yeah.
planning on a mistrial, but a good defensive team like that, I would not put it past them to have planned for the mistrial. Give them a little bit here because 2
Right.
experts working for Archer hired by the government telling you that it didn't fucking happen. That should be enough. But if it's not, it might go to a mistrial, and now we have all these people.
They did keep
Right.
they did keep using the phrase, okay, let's get this on the record.
yeah.
You walked over to the front door and looked out 3 times, right? Or whatever he was talking to Jen McCabe. He did say, let's get this on the record like 4 or 5 times in anticipation, in my opinion, of something coming down the road where they're going to have to answer the same way.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're perjuring themselves.
Dude, how is she gonna climb that mountain? Like she already agreed that she was looking at Karen's car when it was not there, and it's all time stamped and everything.
That's the whole thing between her and Matt McCabe. Like they literally watched her car do everything except commit the crime in question.
Yep.
Literally everything.
Yep.
Like she stated when she got there, watched her pull into the driveway, pull out,
Yep.
leave the property,
The whole
but
thing.
you didn't see her hit John O'Keefe, and nobody saw a body laying out there in the snow.
Nope.
Dude, like I've been there. I saw the yard, dude.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah, I
fucking
know,
way nobody
I know.
saw that body.
I know.
There's no way nobody saw that body laying
Nope.
out
No.
there.
I've been
if-
there.
If that's what happened.
When you look at the curb, they never really talk about the curb.
And
There's
it's not a
6-inch
curb as most people think it is.
Right.
It's not a fucking sidewalk.
No, it's like an asphalt barrier.
Yeah.
It's what we have around here in New England on those freaking roads.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that she could pull that freaking maneuver,
No.
whack him, and not damage the vehicle's tires or anything off the freaking no skid marks out
Right.
there. No, like.
No, I mean in the snow, like there was a blizzard, like it doesn't make sense.
No.
None of it makes sense.
Nope.
No, and even the Archer guys literally said that.
Right.
And they even went, dude, that, how do you pronounce the last guy's name? Retschel? R-E-S?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
whatever.
remember.
Me neither.
But
I
that
don't
motherfucker,
remember.
dude, he drove it home. Like, there was the first ARCA guy. He was awesome,
Yeah.
and he was funny and personable and really smart.
Wolf.
But that last guy, yeah, Wolf. But that last guy drove it home. I
Yeah.
mean, when he said
Right.
that, it wouldn't. He blatantly was like, even if we had more evidence, even if you gave us more stuff, it wouldn't matter. Because it didn't happen that way, because it doesn't align with the, with the
Right.
physics.
Yeah, he was
and-
the biomechanical expert. He was the one
Yeah.
that, like, his injuries. There's just no way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just doesn't add up. None of it does.
No. And I'm seeing the other side try to, like, fight that. Like, they're really riding with Trooper Paul over those fucking dudes.
Goddamn.
Like, what?
How?
So
Who?
funny.
Who?
It's a
I mean,
riot.
Trooper Paul's the best they got.
I
Yeah.
know,
What do they think
bro.
they're gonna do? What do they think they're gonna do in a retrial?
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna pull
They
in a
can't.
retrial?
They
Like,
got nothing.
Trooper Paul's the best they got.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the higher ups kind of just sacrificed his ass. They threw him under the bus. Like, okay, we know.
Well,
he's-
that's what makes it seem like a cover up. It's just like
Yeah.
the worst thing that can happen is like, well, they can't. If we make it just look like it's incompetence, that'll be our defense. Nobody
Right.
can accuse us of covering up a murder if
Yeah.
we just put the most incompetent people on it.
right. That's
Like,
actually
you're
a
gonna
very
tell me
good
that-
point. That's a very good point.
Right. Like, think about it. You're gonna tell me that Trooper Proctor's never fucking been in trouble there before.
Right.
You're gonna tell me that fucking that this dude working for the Massachusetts State Police, that this dude Trooper Paul, he's gonna have this immaculate record as a fucking
Right.
reconstruction.
Right.
No,
No.
he's too stupid.
Yeah. Way too.
Like,
stupid.
they know he's gonna be a train wreck.
Yep.
So when the shit goes down, they get to go, well, it's just, we conducted a poor investigation. We didn't have the most competent people on it. So
Yeah. Huh? Well.
That's
and
the
they don't care.
best.
It's pushing paperwork through for them.
Yeah.
The bureaucrats.
Sure.
Like the court system lives on this shit. We're seeing one fucking
Yeah,
case.
that's true. That's true.
That shit is booked
yeah.
years out, and it's all the same thing. And it takes a lot to defend against something like this.
Yeah.
If it was you or me or Joe Schmo,
Fuck.
we don't have the money.
Right.
We don't have
No.
the money to fight this type of thing.
No.
So it's almost like it does it by itself. I always told my ex-wife, as far as paperwork with our son, I'm like, don't fucking start it. Don't get one piece of paperwork started that you don't have to, because it's just going to snowball down the road. And that's the same thing with court cases or some sort of infraction against the government.
right.
Once you start getting
because
into
you could have all the evidence in the world that's exculpatory,
Yeah.
but if you don't have the means to present it
correct.
in court,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big pile of nothing.
Yep.
So like, I remember that. I remember, like I was going through a custody fight, and I'm getting a consultation from an attorney, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, well, why do I need an attorney? I have all the evidence.
Right.
That I need.
Same, my brother.
She's
Same.
insane,
Yeah.
and she's dangerous. I have all the proof.
Yep.
And he's like, but if you don't, if you could have all the proof in the world, but if you don't know how to present it,
Right.
then it's worthless.
Yeah.
And you need a lawyer to get you in, to
Yeah.
file motions, to enter things into evidence, to make
Right.
sure a judge sees it.
Yep.
To be able to get the judge to look at it and perceive it a certain way.
Right.
You need a lawyer for that.
Yep.
And then I was just like, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I went through with I've had several court interactions in my life that were certainly nothing that I was interested in continuing any further. And it's all paperwork to the lawyers. They don't give a fuck. They're just cashing a check. They don't.
Right.
They just, oh, this is my job. Just doing my job. It's just like,
Right.
you're doing your job. We're all going broke out here. None of us can afford this shit.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, my lawyer charged $75 per email.
Jesus.
That's just email.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. My lawyer
You know
was
what
in,
I'm
my
saying?
lawyer was in Cambridge. So you may, that sounds like a lot of money, but I guarantee you my lawyer was,
Right.
she was a great lawyer, but man, like in the end, I probably spent twice as much as I was going to get half of what I was entitled to.
Right. Yeah. That's always the risk.
It worked out fine, but
when
like
you
it
take
just
people to court.
yeah. But if I had gone with Joe Schmo lawyer, I would have got nothing, and I would have paid that. I did have another court case where I had a lawyer that fucking sucked, and I had to fire his ass because I caught him lying, and you can't have that. You can't have somebody who's like on legal paperwork lying their ass off to you.
Right.
So, anyway,
Right.
Wow, man. Dude, what do you got going on for the rest of the evening? Are you gonna like relax and go to bed, or are you doing a show?
Yeah.
You're always going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go live. Excuse me, I'm not gonna go live tonight. I gotta take the little dude outside. I know he's
clobber.
he's looking at me like,
clever.
no. Yeah. Yeah, I had a full day. I was at the gym most of the day, and it was really hot, and I walked to and from the gym, and I had to get it was a mission to get an Otter box that fit my new phone. Yeah, it was just an annoying day.
Did you not turn to the internet for that?
I did, but the problem is they sent me the wrong size phone.
Okay.
Or the wrong size OtterBox, and here I have this phone where an OtterBox to me is the insurance.
Sure.
Now I have the phone insured, but like,
Yeah.
I've never had an iPhone without an OtterBox on it, so when it doesn't have that protection, like,
Yeah.
I'm really worried
gonna
about
get
it.
smashed
Never
over.
had a phone break on me,
Right,
ever.
right.
But I like to think it's because I've always had an OtterBox on.
Yep. Makes
So-
sense.
So here I was just running around, and then I had to go to the gym, and I'm also dieting again, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah. Right.
Because
Right.
Because as active as I was today, all I want to do is eat like a big bucket of fried chicken.
Sure.
And I can't.
You're in the fried chicken wonderland down there.
Right.
You are in the zone of fried chicken. How far are you from, say, Cherokee? Just as a random question.
Cherokee, where? Tennessee?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know where Cherokee is.
All right. It's at the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's like
Okay.
motorcycle territory.
Okay. No. Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Okay. You heard of the Blue Ridge Parkway, though? You must have.
I've heard the words said.
Okay.
But
right.
I don't think I've ever been there. No.
All right. Okay. Just curious. I did a lot of riding down in Tennessee. That's all I know. I love the area down there. It's very beautiful. Excellent motorcycle roads.
I love it too. I mean, I just it's just really hot in the summertime. I can't wait till winter.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy walking around in the wintertime.
Sure.
Like cold as fuck. I don't care.
Okay.
Come
on up
but
here
the
during the
heat
winter. You won't be
sucks.
saying that.
Right. That's what
You'll
they
be
say.
like, nah, I'm all set with
Yeah.
fucking cold.
No, yeah. Tennessee winters are just right for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got kin in Kentucky, so it's like I go to Kentucky, Tennessee every once in a while. Get a little time in down there. It's beautiful.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, hey, man, I want to thank you again for coming on tonight. And
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I loved the conversation. I really enjoyed
thank
it.
you.
dude, I'll continue to follow. And where's the best place for people to reach you that don't already know where to reach you?
To watch the channel?
Yeah. No, call
yeah,
you. What's your phone number?
Personal email
Yeah, I mean-
and
Same title, The GLARER. It's on YouTube and on Twitter.
Do you do Rumble?
I think it's GLARER. I started a Rumble, but the thing is like it doesn't show up for an option on StreamYard
Okay.
to simultaneously. You have to like go through each time. You have to go through the typing of the URL. You got to put in the URL, and you got to put in the key thing or whatever, and I got to do that every time. But I don't even really have much of a following on Rumble, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
But I really should build my audience on Rumble just in case anything happens to my YouTube.
right.
But
Yeah, you never know with
But
YouTube,
yeah.
right? Well, hey man, thanks
Smart.
again, dude. Yeah, you're fucking fascinating, and I'm gonna continue to follow you, and I hope we get to do this again sometime.
It's an honor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anytime, guys.
Awesome,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Awesome, man.
Hard
I
rock
had a
life.
blast. Great talking to you guys. And thank you again, Chris, for the song, man.
Yeah.
And,
Let's keep
play
it
it.
going. Keep it. You know, you're welcome to it as long as you like. You know.
Right
Yes,
on, man. I
sir.
appreciate that. Yeah, so when is this going to air?
Probably sometime tomorrow, right, Brad guy?
I'll get on it tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tonight or tomorrow.
Cool.
I'll
yeah,
message
send
you.
me a link.
I will. Definitely.
Yes,
Definitely
send me
will.
a link when it's ready, and I'll share it and everything.
Right
Cool,
on,
man. Awesome.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
guys. Appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Till
Hard
next
rock
time.
life.
Rock and
All
roll.
right. Having a good night.